Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 11 of the Unfinished Basement podcast. This is the show where we discuss contemporary issues, engage with them critically, and offer our general thoughts on said topics. We talk about anything from current events to video games and movies, or just generally interesting topics. In this episode, we're going to start off with our AskReddit section, and then move on to our discussion of the implications of the education reform controversy in Ontario, the Epic Games Store backlash, and light conversations stemming from both topics. We can be heard on Stitcher, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at the Unfinished Basement Podcast and subscribe to us on iTunes. I'm Lou.
I'm Jules.
I'm Joe.
I'm Pete.
And without further ado, enjoy the show.
It's like 5 minutes.
Yeah,
We done tried it. We done did
we
it. We
can
done
get it
fucked
going
up.
in Tongue B.
yeah, hell yeah, we can,
Yeah.
man. And yeah, we definitely can
Yep.
and will. What do you guys think of these Alexander Keats that pride in Nova Scotia?
They're good.
Well, you know, the thing about these beers is that they're pretty smooth, if I say so myself. You know? What do
Yeah.
you think about them? You're the Nova Scotian here.
Well, I think that I didn't know how to properly pronounce Keats until I was about 18 years old because I was always raised to think it was Keats. They don't use H's there in Nova Scotia. So,
So it's just Keat.
yeah, it was just always
Keat.
Keats, you know? My dad would be like, yeah, I'm drinking some Keats tonight. Be like, oh.
Fuck
Keats.
by.
And then I
You see
always thought
that
it was
massive
Keats.
goal by Duncan Keat in the
No,
Winter
man,
Games?
that's fucked. You're making us sound like a bunch of fuckers.
You're making them sound like newfies.
Honestly, that's straight up offensive.
Honestly, though, newfies, like, their accent is a little bit incomprehensible.
How does a Newfie kill a fish?
Tell me.
Hit me.
They drown it.
Jesus.
That's pretty good. I like that one. I've heard that. I like that one.
You
That's
like that
pretty-
one, eh, bye?
Yeah, I do.
Or are you a bay?
Yeah.
Buying a bay? No, he's from the pier, dear.
No, actually, no. My dad's from the Bay, bye.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
I forgot. My bad.
No, it's all good.
Glace
That's what we're here
Bay,
for. Glace
Cape
Bay,
Breton
Nova
Island.
Scotia. Yeah.
By the piss jugs.
No, that's closer to the mainland, to be honest.
Piss jugs are actually a thing, and it's fucking hilarious.
Really?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, man.
You've
Who
never
was
seen my
following the trail
pictures?
of piss
No.
jugs?
You've never seen my pictures of piss
No,
jugs? Yeah,
no.
I was doing the Cabot Trail, dude. I swear to God, I have about 3 photos of piss jugs. Yeah.
That's fucked.
It's really funny,
Oh,
man.
dude, they're like
truckers are just
2-liter bottles, too.
yeah, they're the big milk jugs. They're honestly like 4-liter bottles, like the big fuckers, you know?
Really?
Yeah, like those ones, like even the handle gets filled up with liquid, you know?
So the trailer
Like they're
park
pissing and like
boys.
their hand gets warm as it fills into the handle, you know?
I'd love to chuck one out of those and just watch it explode.
Dude, like you open it half open it, and then just
You don't even need to half
Oh my
open it. Just
God.
there will be enough pressure that it'll just burst.
with the steam inside.
Oh God, it'd be greasy.
You should open it and check if it's actually apple juice or piss. Give it a little taste.
Just
Smell that butt hash.
Yo, that was actually, man.
Okay, so Lou discovered a new type of drug that I've personally been ignorant of my whole life up until this point.
Yet you'd love it the most.
Yeah, dude. I'd love it the most.
Yeah, man,
Why,
with
'cause
them
I'm a filthy
stinky ass
animal?
farts.
I'd probably make the best butt hash out of anyone in this room.
No, that's a guarantee, man.
that's actually disgusting.
But basically,
Well, lay
what
it down.
butt hash? Right, thank
Yeah.
you. So what butt hash is? Honestly, I didn't want to tell you guys until the podcast, but unfortunately, I couldn't contain myself. So I spilled it in the middle of a restaurant instead, which wasn't very good. But
While we were
this
eating.
this
Well,
old
yeah.
Japanese man was looking at us in disgust.
yeah, I was pissing laughter while he was taking my order. I felt really bad. But basically, what butt hash is, Pete.
Let's hear it.
So imagine that you want to get high,
Yeah.
right? Like imagine you need weed, and you ain't got none, right? Nor do you have the funds to afford yourself that marijuana. And you think, well, you know what? I could huff gas, or I could buy some of that aerosol spray.
Yeah.
You could just huff that,
Mhm.
right? No, I'll do you one better. What you're gonna do is you're gonna make yourself some butt hash, all right? And what that entails is taking a shit into a jar, putting a balloon over it, put it out into the sun, let that shit ferment, come back to it in a little bit of time, and start huffing your own butt hash. And that's legitimately what butt hash is.
And it works?
Apparently, the effects are a hallucination or hallucinatory effects for about an hour. So you can genuinely get high off of butt hash.
Maybe that's how you see the shit hawks.
Yeah, fuck. Yo, do you think Leahy was doing butt hash all these years?
You could Keep a straight face. I was ready to get into a butt hash conversation with you about shitbirds. But you blew it.
Dude, the butt. It's too funny. It's too funny a concept. Like you're making you're making drugs with your butt.
Yeah.
But no, but man, maybe the shithawks and the shit winds. Maybe you only smell them. Maybe the smell of them is literally
The
just,
shit wins.
yeah. Your butt hash is ready to go. That's why you smell the shit winds.
Oh my. And he was
Like
always referring to them like growing drugs.
Yeah, fuck, man. Dude, Leahy was on butt hash.
I think we just decoded it.
Yeah, and dude, think about it. They couldn't afford a lot of shit, man, in the trailer park.
No, they couldn't. Because, fuck, man, they barely had money for pepperoni.
Dude, man, they fucking drank. Remember when they would always drink out of the, like, you know, the 2-liter bottles of Coke?
Slice
and
them in
slice
half.
it in half.
Yeah, yeah.
That was the greasiest shit ever.
I
man.
loved that, man.
See, the thing is that you know, there was a brief part where Leahy was trying to get off the liquor. He didn't want to be the liquor anymore.
Mhm.
So it's very plausible that he was on butt hash. Randy's butt hash.
Oh, it would have to be Randy's butt
Randy
hash.
made the best butt hash in that fucking trailer park.
Sweaty
sure,
butt
man.
hash.
Disgusting
and
cheeseburger
cheeseburger.
hash.
Anything you want, Mr. Leahy.
Leahy would probably sell Randy's butt hash and label it cheeseburger hash.
Yeah.
Like, the
Listen,
best things
Rand.
wanted it.
Listen, Rand, we need some more of that butt hash. Fuck, man. What a good show.
Did you guys see the animated?
Yeah.
You watched all of it?
No, I watched like
I only
6
watched
episodes,
one
I think.
episode.
Dude, the
4
first
episodes?
episode made me sad.
Yeah. When you saw Leahy in it.
Yeah.
I think that they took sound bites of
They
him.
did. You can hear it clearly, how it sounds
Yeah.
kind of robotic. I thought so too. As soon as I heard it for the first time in the right in the beginning, the jail scene,
Yeah.
you can hear like that robotic noise, and it's like
Yeah.
they're taking clips
And
from
it
previous episodes.
yeah, it sounds like previous episodes, and not only that, but it also sounds like the audio quality isn't as good, and
Yeah.
probably because they were recording a lot of these a long time ago.
Yeah.
Right.
Should we get on to the AskReddits?
Yeah. Yeah, let's do it. So ask Reddit. What do you got for us this week, Juice?
All right. So what song would you guys want playing at your funeral? I know this is a tough question because we're still pretty young. Death really isn't obviously on our minds, but at the same time, I've thought about this lots of times, and I have a song in mind already. So I thought maybe you guys would too.
Yeah, I do too.
Mhm.
I got one.
So
All right. Let's hear it.
let's hit it, Joe.
Yozez.
Highway to Hell.
That's fuck.
Your nana wouldn't like that.
Not one bit.
I don't think any family would.
It would be funny as hell just to see like Lou take his hair out of the bun,
Oh,
sitting
yeah.
in one of the chairs, just
Start fucking
just
head
headbanging.
Dude, you know I'd be rocking out for you, man. I'd have a Keats in hand. Alexander Keats. That's India Pale Ale. Alexander Keats, established in 1820. If you want to sponsor us.
You forgot the tagline.
Oh, right.
The heart of Nova Scotia.
The pride of Nova
the
Scotia.
pride. I just like saying heart.
Man, you know that the Keats guy. You guys remember those Alexander Keats commercials when we were young?
Yeah.
They had that big fat guy on. He looked like a Scottish guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the motherfucker is a diddler, man. Yeah.
He's a kitty diddler.
Yeah, he was
Oh,
busted,
shit.
man.
Man, everybody's a fucking diddler now.
Bunch of sickos. Mm.
Ooh.
How about you, Pete?
It's gonna be "Somebody to Love" by Queen.
All right.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Not bad.
Yeah.
You
I
want
don't know.
God to love you?
No, dude.
You want Jesus?
No.
And then the Holy Ghost?
Yeah.
Or
the Holy
the
Ghost.
Virgin Mary?
That's what Pete
Who do you want
wants.
to love you?
Pete wants to take that virginity.
Dude, not even them. My family. Fucking
Oh, true.
yeah.
I forgot about that.
I forgot about my family.
Yeah. What about you,
I
Lou?
don't think you need
that,
to convince them though.
No, obviously not. But like, it's nice to hear. You know that
Mhm.
song. Everybody can sing. I don't want it to be a sad wedding. I want it to be a happy wedding
You're getting
Funeral.
You
married
mean funeral?
or funeral.
You're
Sorry,
getting married to
I'm
your
getting-
coffin?
probably.
to
That's
Jeebus.
basically it, man. Till
Yeah,
or
yeah.
death done you apart. So now you
Yeah.
just gotta sit in it, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'd want well, the more sad one would be In My Life, and that's like pretty typical, you know. But that's not what I want. I want Over the Hills and Far Away. That's what I
Oh,
want.
that is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. It's nice and happy and uplifting.
Yeah. Many times I've loved. Many times I've listened. Many times I've wondered how much there is to know. You know.
Ding, 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 ding,
Hell yeah.
ding, ding, ding.
There's a whole bunch of good lines. You know, I live for my dreams and a pocket full of gold. So hopefully by the
Mhm.
time I die, I would have done both. You know.
Yeah, that's That's a really good one, man.
I might redact mine.
Mm.
Time.
Oh, that's fucked, man. That's a bummer,
scary,
dude.
man.
That's
You want me to
scary.
cry?
I hope so.
Fuck. Nah, man. You want us partying.
Yeah, party.
What do you got for us, Juice?
Raindrops keep falling on my
No.
head. Ding, 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 na, 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 na. That's my song.
Are you lying?
I'm not lying, dude.
Man, that song was in Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I fucking hated that song.
Why?
Why do you think he likes the
And-
song?
Yeah, true.
Why do you hate it?
I don't know, man. It's just like uppity and annoying, you know?
Dude,
That's what I always
it's
kinda
it's a
thought
nice
of it.
it's a nice positive message.
Is it? I don't really know the lyrics.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Mhm. But there's one thing I know: the blues they send to meet me won't defeat me. I won't be long till happiness steps up to greet me.
Did you kill yourself? Is that what happened at this funeral?
Maybe.
Are you a victim of
Probably.
suicide?
Probably.
Are
Sorry
you
for the
foreshadowing something, Juice?
quote. Honestly,
Should we be worried?
Yeah, you know you can talk to
Maybe.
us, man.
maybe.
The fuck?
No, but no, it's like raindrops keep falling on my head, but that doesn't mean my eyes will soon be turning red. You know, crying's not for me.
Mm.
You know, I'm dead. Yeah, I'm gone. There's no point in mourning me because my value as a person isn't that much. And it's just a reminder to people, you know, to just keep on trucking, you know. And there's one bit about nothing seems to fit like a guy whose feet are too big for his bed. I just really like that because my feet are too big for my bed.
That's a
And,
shitty feeling, eh?
It is, but my
Yeah.
bed is still so comfy at the same time.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, my bed kind of pisses me off these days. My bed's also pretty beat up. Like, the whole frame's kind of fucked.
Why is that?
I don't know, man. It's
There's
just
too many activities.
No, man, none of that dirty shit. I'm a Christian man.
Your Judeo-Christian values prevent you from doing anything immoral.
Of course, man. I'm abstaining. What the hell? Come on.
You're waiting in.
Yeah, hell yeah. You guys know me. You guys know me. I believe
Yeah,
in abstinence
know
and
me,
chastity
bro.
until marriage.
That's a fucking good one. Over there, bye.
Yeah.
You're sitting in your bedroom. But
Playing video games, man.
yeah.
And
That's all he's
studying.
doing.
And reading the fucking holy book, dude. Come on.
What's your favorite verse? What's your favorite book in the Bible?
Um,
Leviticus?
yeah, actually, that's exactly what I was gonna say. You know, those who attempt to poison me and my brothers and sisters. You know it better. than I
Those
do.
who attempt to poison my brothers and sisters.
Oh, actually, speaking of, we have
Yeah.
a new piece of memorabilia slash memorabilia for the Unfinished Basement. We have a sign here, which you will see on our Instagram. I don't have my glasses on, so I can't see that far. It reads, "This community protected neighborhood watch," and it's a photo of Vincent and Jules pointing their
An
guns.
iconic photo of an iconic scene. It's yeah, it's like one of the most popular images from Pulp Fiction.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got a lot of
Arguably pop
Tarantino
culture.
things here now. We've got the red apple darts. We've got the whatchamacallit? We got the community watch sign. And our logo now is very reminiscent of the colors of that movie.
Colors of Tarantino movies in
Mhm.
general.
Yeah, colors of Tarantino movies in general, and also our outro song. If you still haven't heard it, give it a listen. Let us know what you think. But
Send us an email. Don't
yes,
leave any shitty
send
reviews.
us an
Yeah.
email. No, but yeah, our theme song or our outro song is very reminiscent of that sort of surf rock aesthetic that Tarantino went for in Pulp Fiction. And yeah, we are obviously, I guess, Tarantino lovers here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just want to point out, goes for in not only Pulp Fiction, but even like most of his movies, even like his westerns, you know, like Django and Hateful Eight, he still kind of has that that surf rock or that surf rock kind of
Yeah.
twist to it, which is what I think makes a lot of it, like, it's a really cool addition. Even when it's completely out of place, he still finds the perfect way to fit it in, I think,
Yeah.
most of the time.
He really
which is
does love
interesting.
it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, it's like that nostalgic appreciation of like the 50s and 60s and that whole culture, you know.
Mhm.
And I love it too, man. I fucking
yeah.
love. I'm so excited for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. That's got to be like a whole episode for us
Yeah.
in itself. We got to do like a detailed discussion
Yeah,
of our
analysis.
thoughts.
We bring in notepads and
Yeah, man, I'm not watching that movie like with my dick out. Like I'm coming prepared to fucking to watch that movie.
I hope you're not watching with your dick out, man. We're gonna watch it all together. You know.
Yeah, not in a movie theater, but sometimes you're in your room, you're watching Netflix, and your fucking dick's out.
Yeah, dude. You know what? Never mind.
You've been doing that a lot lately.
Yeah, yeah.
Past few episodes. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, you know what, man? I realize like I can say what I want amongst you guys, and although we are amongst one another, like I should still have some restrictions. But
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
okay, you know what?
Who
Fuck
gives
it
a
then.
fuck?
You've convinced me. But yeah, just having your dick out, man. Like sometimes when I'm playing video games on my computer, you know, you just
It
like
just flops out.
no, you just like randomly take your nuts out and drop them down over your undies. You know what I mean? And then
Dude,
you
I
just sit
don't know
there-
about you. I've never done that.
I've never.
That sounds uncomfy.
I've never
Just
done that
having your fucking underwear
in my
lines.
life.
That sounds uncomfy.
Dude, it's just to free them up, give them some air. Get the
Might as
fan
well
air
just
on
take them off.
No, man, because like I live in a small place. You know what I mean? Like that's high risk.
But your nuts are already out.
No, but like I can like if someone walks in, I just like scooch forward.
Yeah, well, you could like if you have your durs off, you could just say, "I'm naked." You know,
Don't come
like
in.
it's, if someone walks in and they see your nuts tucked right outside your tidy whities, fucking like what the fuck?
Yeah, but dude,
What
you
is
know
this guy doing?
Like I understand the idea, but I live with two women, my mom and my 12-year-old sister. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
she
I
doesn't need to
it's
see
really
that.
not worth the risk.
And
Yeah,
it's bound to happen at one point, man. But
yeah, I know you've been there. You want to tell us about it?
not really.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, but for him it's a little bit worse because he's an older sister too, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know, man. It just, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, older sisters are the worst.
But they get it, you know, like older sisters. It's like,
Yeah, man. If she got it because she was laughing at me.
That's
the
why it's
fucking
worse.
Time. The
That's why.
shame I felt. All right, like it's definitely colored me in a way I don't like too much. But next question.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll jump in with my question.
yeah.
All right. So, besides eating cereal with water, what is the most outrageous eating sin you have ever witnessed? We'll start to my right on Peter.
I'm just trying to think of one right now. Sorry.
If you don't have one, we'll move it.
Yeah,
someone else.
if you want to move on, cause
Yeah, maybe our answers will help you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Be like, oh, okay.
yeah,
So I got my sister broccoli and ketchup. It was pretty,
Shut up.
Fuck,
yeah, I
that sounds
swear to God.
delicious.
She does that, and like not anymore, but when she was young, she'd put ketchup on everything, much like our compadre over here. And was that, yeah, that's the right word. And yeah, so broccoli and ketchup was her norm. Beans, like you know, like string beans and ketchup was also up there.
Fuck, that sounds delicious.
No,
You know what that
like-
reminds me of? Like, you know, like pickled beans, like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
pickled green beans.
Yeah, yeah.
You know they're like vinegary like that.
Mhm.
Like now, just imagine like green beans just doused in ketchup.
I'm
and
getting a
vineg-
stomach ache
all
thinking about that.
vinegary and tomatoey and delicious. Fuck, man, Julian, you know we think alike.
What do you got for us?
Honestly, man, I don't really observe people's like food mishaps or what have you. I can only speak for myself and my food sins. I've dipped nachos in Coke. I've eaten Coke. I mean, I've eaten nachos like that. I've once melted Hershey Kisses over nachos.
That actually doesn't sound too bad.
It was disgusting.
Was it?
Like the Coke was better than the chocolate.
Really?
Yeah.
But that gives you like that salty and sweet. You know, I like that.
Yeah, I mean sweet
was
salt,
gross.
but Joe tried it with me.
It was gross.
Oh,
Joe
fuck.
tried
It was
with me.
disgusting.
Okay,
I
but
mean, there was this one other time where I was eating a Dairy Queen ice cream cake, like with my hands, just like shoving it in my face. Joe has a
I
video.
have a
of it.
video of that.
Yeah,
I
like
think
I'm
that
just
was like
disgusting.
your 17th birthday, your 16th
Yeah,
birthday.
yeah.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
were- I think we were in grade 10 or so.
was
But,
right
we were
after
really
you
school.
just killed me there, man. I should not have been drinking while you said that one.
No, yeah. I'm a very disgusting eater. Once I went out we went to Big Bone with Sabrina and her mom. And like, I'm just eating the way I normally eat chicken wings. And I look up and then her mom looks up at me like with her mouth open. There's sauce all over my face. My hand, Sabrina takes a picture every time. we eat like disgusting food of just my fingers, and like, why am I knuckle deep in sauce? I'm just a disgusting eater, and my logic behind it is enjoy the meal while you're eating it. Doesn't matter about the mess because you can clean up the mess afterward. Why spend time in between eating trying to clean up the mess when you could just do it all in one go and have a good time while you're eating? Enjoy the experience of eating.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these Gentiles with their backs straight and their napkins dabbing little fucking things. Like, fuck off with that bullshit. Just eat the food. Eat the food, man.
Well,
excuse my rant.
let me ask what you think about this, because the Hershey's and nachos wasn't too good. But how about like Nutella on saltine crackers?
Oh, that's good.
No, that's
fuck,
good.
dude?
That's good
That's
as
good.
fuck.
Because-
yeah.
because-
You have to be
That's
like
good.
crazy to not even think of that.
Yeah,
That's
no,
like a
that's-
classic.
that's-
That's a staple.
yeah.
Right?
So what's the
Nutella,
difference?
because
Nutella
Nutella's
for?
a spread. It belongs on breads and
Yeah.
and crackers and stuff like that. Whereas Hershey Kisses were not meant to
Hershey-
go on nachos.
Hershey Kisses have like this weird, like dark, really rich taste that
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah.
not too fond of. And if I put Nutella on those nachos, fuck yeah, that sounds really good.
That would have been good.
We
But
should like melt Nutella and just drizzle it. We could do that. But saltine crackers and Nutella is like the perfect sweet and salty.
Yeah, it's a staple.
it is.
It's
really
it's
nice.
always there.
You guys ever dunked it in milk?
Dude, look at, I just told you I dipped nachos in Coke. You're asking me
Thank
as
God.
if that's a novel idea.
I was just nervous that I was the only one. That's
Dude,
all.
that's so normal.
Okay, good. No, man, you know what? I want to tell you guys why it may not be as normal as you may think. All right?
Why?
Because I went to Rosie's house one day.
And you dipped your saltine
No. I discovered that she doesn't, nor basically has ever had Nutella in the house.
Okay, that's not normal.
That's
I-
that is not normal.
It's not normal,
No,
right?
yeah.
I went nuts. I bought her a thing Nutella for as like a joke gift, obviously for Christmas. Because I was like, "What the fuck? Which house have you guys ever been to that doesn't have Nutella?"
Mm,
Someone that's allergic.
Yeah,
but then
that's
they,
true,
But then
that's
there's
true.
still like that dookie
That-
chocolate spread.
yeah, there is.
Yeah.
The
President's
peanut-free one.
choice. Like they at least have a like balance, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
Sans Nuts.
Sans
they,
Nut.
they got the Sans Newt substitute.
Substitute.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, for me it's. I was gonna say the nachos with the Hershey's Kisses,
Mhm.
because that was disgusting. Like, it was repulsive. Like, just the way it looked, the way it tasted. Like, it looked like a pile of
Yeah,
diarrhea.
it actually looked like
disgusting.
shit.
Like,
on
it was
nachos.
disgusting. But like,
my
I've seen
God.
people dip cookies into water. And
I've
it's
done
like,
that.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that.
if we wouldn't think
I've done
twice
that.
if you've done that.
I've dipped
kinda
watermelon in peanut butter.
What?
No, dude.
Why?
come
Why do you
on.
have those two substances around
Like-
each other?
Dude, they're in my kitchen.
Yeah, you just took a bite of watermelon, thought to yourself, "Fuck yeah, I want to dip that in peanut butter."
Well, think of this, okay? It's like peanut butter. If you were to take a spoonful of peanut butter and put it in your mouth, it's real dry.
Mhm.
Watermelon, it's like 99% water. You mix that with the peanut butter, you alleviate the dryness from the peanut butter, get that saltiness and the sweet taste of the watermelon. It's not as bad as it sounds.
That sounds like heartburn.
I'm not agreeing.
You should have just drank
No, there's
water
no
with
acid.
it, man.
There's no. What the fuck? Drink
Yeah.
water with peanut butter
Or milk.
with a
Milk,
scoop
milk.
of peanut
Milk.
butter in your mouth.
Milk.
Milk, yeah.
I'm trying to imagine the texture and I'm not liking it.
Is watermelon 99% water?
I know cucumbers are. And
Yeah,
the cucumbers are
cucumbers.
98, I think, actually.
98.
Let me look it up so we're not misinformed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, do that. You know, here in the unfinished basement. Excuse me. Here in the unfinished basement, you know, none of us here are tenured professors or members of the academia or academic discourse, or, you know, like, we're not politicians or anything. When we speak of things, we try to be as informed as possible, and if we are misinformed, you know, leave us some suggestion. preferably within the 3-star range.
Yeah, 3-star and up.
Not with the 2-star range. Like,
But we also have our Instagram. You can DM us on Instagram.
DM
We
us
have
on
our
Instagram.
email.
We have our email.
You can comment on our website as
Yeah.
well
Yeah.
with constructive criticism and stuff like that. Watermelon's actually 92%.
92%
Water and
All right,
6%
now we're
sugar.
informed.
So,
So-
we are now informed.
Yeah, but we're here basically just talking shit
Mhm.
about whatever the fuck we want to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're doing this for fun, and if we're your news outlet, then that's a little sad because we're
Yeah.
not reporters and we're not journalists or anything like
Yeah,
that.
no, none of this is
We're
is
four
scripted.
guys sitting in a unfinished basement, drinking Alexander Keats, the heart of Nova Scotia.
Pride. The
Pride.
pride.
Fuck, I just like saying heart. Said it before. But yeah, we're just here having fun. You know, we try to be as informed as possible. And yeah, that's my shtick.
And just to touch on that, the reason we're bringing it up to listeners, and hopefully to the one listener that left a review on our podcast, we're bringing it up because we were given a 2-star review on the podcast that basically said it was titled highly misinformed. You can check it out yourselves, and they were specifically commenting, which we do appreciate the comment absolutely. 2 stars we didn't appreciate, but what can you expect? We're not going to appreciate anything that's not good, but we do appreciate the comment itself, right? And you guys were and whoever it was helping us out. However, I just want to point out that last week, the episode that you were commenting on, we made it very clear it was going to be an episode for fun. We were drinking, we were celebrating. I think that we're all aware that climate change is climate change and not just global warming. But like I said, we were just quickly shooting off shit because we were all pretty drunk.
Yeah.
So we would really appreciate if, well, for all listeners, if anybody was turned off by that, just to give it another shot and see what you think. But the one episode wasn't a fair one to judge us entirely on. That's all.
Exactly. Well said. Bye from the bay. So Peter, now we
Yeah.
got to go back to you.
Yeah,
What is
yeah.
your food sin
So
that you've witnessed?
I've done this. I don't know if it's gross or not, but have you ever, like, when you make a toast, you put one side cream cheese and the
What
other
the fuck?
and the wait, can I finish?
Dude, that's so
and the other
normal, I know.
and the other side butter, and you put them together.
Okay.
Okay,
that's-
yeah,
I've been
cream
there,
cheese
been
and
there.
butter. It's
Yeah.
not
Like,
as bad. I thought you were
oh,
gonna throw some peanut butter.
No,
curveball
no,
in
no,
there.
no.
Yeah.
Cream cheese and
Dude,
butter.
and
I
you
don't.
fold it in half?
I put it together.
You fold like one slice and
No,
you
I
fold it in
get
half?
the 2 toast breads and I put it together and then I cut it.
Yeah, no, that's reasonable.
Yeah,
That's
but
reasonable.
like I've seen corn and ketchup,
Mhm.
like actual corn and ketchup.
I've seen that.
and
Corn and
I
ketchup?
feel like
Yeah,
Jules
like-
is an advocate for it.
like
Yeah,
frozen.
of course.
Anything that involves ketchup, he's an advocate for. I've seen like bacon maple syrup. Like that's not a weird one.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's another
No, that's
combination.
good.
It's good, right?
Yeah.
But you wouldn't normally think it was good if you've never tried it before.
Right, right.
Right?
I eat
Again.
sandwiches.
It's like that sweet and salty.
Mm-hmm. You know what I like, man? Butter pecan maple syrup at IHOP.
Yeah, it's good.
I love that.
Oh,
It's really good.
Dude, we went to
Yeah.
town on that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I
we
could
finished
drink
the
that.
whole thing.
Yeah.
But I eat sandwiches that consist solely of bread, bacon, and ketchup.
Fucking-
And,
Why?
You know what,
No
man?
lettuce?
I've seen that, but it's pretty
good.
gross.
No,
Like,
no lettuce.
It's the ketchup,
No
man. Like, it
lettuce,
tastes
no
no
good.
tomatoes.
It tastes
No,
good. I just
nothing.
don't like ketchup on my bread. So that's where I differ.
I
but
put ketchup
I
in the
understand
sandwich
that.
and I squirt a
understand
little on the plate.
that. Oh no, you
I
don't.
probably yeah. I
You
probably
do the dunk.
You do the dunk.
Oh, dude, that
I
is
dunk my burgers in the squirt of ketchup.
No.
Okay,
no,
burgers
that's
is a
criminal.
different story. Burgers is a different story because ketchup belongs in burgers.
I
But-
think I might have an ulcer.
Jules is a criminal.
You are.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
It's okay.
My God.
All right, so Pete gave his 2 cents.
Yeah.
And it's you're up.
Yeah.
brother.
Wait, before we continue.
Yeah, go.
Joey Diaz said that in the 80s, people used to eat cream cheese and jelly sandwiches.
Oh,
Right, that's what I was
yeah,
thinking when
that-
you said that.
Yeah.
You know
I'd
what?
be like,
That doesn't sound as bad though, because as a kid, I always ate, what was it? Butter and jam,
Yeah, I did that too.
Okay, yeah.
and it was really good.
It was good.
Mhm.
But yeah, continue.
yeah.
Fucking cream.
No, that's
cheese
all I
and
had to
jelly.
say, but like that just sounds like really heavy.
I
you
think
know?
I've had it.
Yeah.
I honestly think I have it. when
Yeah,
I
because
was-
it
when I
sounds
was
like
younger.
pretty logical.
Yeah.
You know, cream cheese and jelly, strawberry,
Mine
But,
used to be the grape, but
grape.
yeah.
Oh, you like that grape jelly, huh?
Did you get seedless or not? or just seeds inside it? The jelly.
No, that's
Seedless.
the difference. Is I think that the difference between jelly and jam is that one of them has seeds and the other one doesn't.
Really?
Oh, I like jam then. I don't
think
like
so.
jelly. Jam has the seeds, right?
I think jam. Yeah,
No, jam has
like
the-
chunky and shit.
It's
Jam,
chunky.
yeah, jam has the actual fruit on the inside, like the
Yeah.
squished
Like
fruit,
chunk.
with the
the
seeds.
remains of
Yeah.
it. But I've never really seen it too much with the seeds. Actually, you know what? You guys might be right.
Yeah.
Raspberry.
Raspberry for sure.
You
has
guys
the
might be
seeds.
right. Yes, I think I do remember seeing seeds in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
But raspberries are the best fruit, hands down.
They are. I love them.
No.
They are
I
pretty
like
good.
raspberry jam.
I don't know if they're my favorite though.
I love
Man, just
raspberries.
rinsed raspberries with some ketchup.
I think mangoes are my favorite fruit.
Mangoes
are
oh
good.
yeah, I'm wrong.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I think mangoes are my favorite fruit.
Yeah, we're all on a mango kick right now.
Yeah.
I've been on a mango
Yeah.
kick.
Straight up.
Like we vape mangoes, we drink mango smoothies, juices, eat mangoes.
That was the bubble tea I had. Mango.
Same.
We literally
was
just
mango.
had,
We
yeah.
just went to
Yeah, what'd you guys
Chat
get?
Mango
Like, ice
green
chilled.
tea.
I got ice, like it was like cold ice or whatever. It was like a smoothie, a mango
Oh, the
smoothie.
Yeah,
mango
it's the mango
smoothie, yeah.
slush
mango
or whatever.
smoothie with and inside of it,
with the yoka.
I got it. I forget. It starts with an L.
Oh, the lychees.
Lychees, yes,
yeah,
yeah.
the lychee jelly.
Dude, they are so fucking good.
I think that's what was in
it
yours
was.
today.
That is what
It
it
was
was.
the
I didn't
lychee.
like those.
Really?
I like the yoka because I like to race with them. But you know what that would be?
No, which one is that?
Okay, so Joe and I were at well, with like a few other people, we were at Chat Time in the summer, or
Yeah.
like more like the beginning of winter.
Mm-hmm.
And you ever seen the movie Billy Madison?
Yeah.
Okay, so remember at the point where they take pickles and they whip them onto the window, and then they race the pickles, like they go down the window, and
Yeah.
whoever makes the bottom. We were basically putting yoka in our mouth. That's tapioca. Putting it in the mouth, spitting it onto a window, and then whoever's tapioca reached the bottom first wins. Yeah,
Wait, whose window?
just like some random establishment. Yeah, it was funny.
It's good.
But yeah, what do you
Yeah.
got for us, Pete?
So my question is, what is something that your generation did that no younger generation will ever get to experience?
Oh, I think I have a good one for this one.
So if you guys want, I can start it,
Should I?
or if you want to start.
Yeah, I'll
so-
get her going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go.
We saw technology pretty much develop itself.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No one's ever going to be able to see that again.
No. Well,
So-
not for I don't think that there would be as big.
Well,
yeah,
ever. Like
advance,
we
yeah.
we were around for the internet
Yeah.
and all of these major platforms, social media,
Mhm. Yeah,
stuff like
that's
that.
a big
like,
one.
We were the guinea pigs for it.
Cell phones.
Cell phones too. We started off on
Mm-hmm.
those big bricks, and then as we were older and were able to get cell phones, flip phones
Yeah.
is
that
what
was
we
it.
were
We
mainly
don't even
introduced
need
to. And
computers now.
yeah, and there were no such thing as data plans and all that. We were around for the birth of data plans and
Mm-hmm.
all that stuff. So
Yeah.
I don't think anyone will ever see anything like that again unless we make the transition to like flying cars or something like that.
Yeah,
Which,
I mean, like the like jump that from like what we have now compared to what we didn't have like 20
Yeah.
15 years ago, like it's huge. That's a huge jump.
It
Yeah.
is.
well, compare dial-up internet to 5G now.
Yeah, that's
It's
exactly
insane.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And from now, it's pretty much just iterative developments of these technologies
Mhm.
until we reach a certain point where there's going to be huge innovations. Like VR is going to be, I think, like one of the biggest, one of the most like important new technologies, or like something to do with flying cars, or like
Mhm.
renewable energy,
Or even healthcare.
like health, like
Mhm.
shit
I
like
feel
that.
Yeah,
something
healthcare.
something could
Like
make a jump
like
from there.
medical or like medicine and shit like that. Like unless huge jumps like that happen,
Mm-hmm.
then I think you're right. But like it's entirely possible that there can be like a huge leap in
Well, yeah,
in
we've done it before.
technology.
History
Another
repeats
one.
itself, is what they
Yeah,
say, right?
yeah.
So in this 15-year, 20-year span, like you were saying, we made this insane jump where people couldn't even imagine the technology we have today. You can order food to your door from your phone. You don't even have to leave your house. In the States, toothpaste, all that stuff with, what is it, DoorDash?
Mm-hmm.
Something like that? Is that what it's called?
Door something mates.
Postmates.
Postmates.
Postmates, that's
Yeah.
it. Like, you can order anything. You don't even have to leave your house anymore. Online grocery shopping.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody would have ever
Dude,
thought that would be a thing. Grocery shopping was for a majority of people, it's still majority of people's day-to-day measure, or their weekly grocery shopping. For a lot of people, they don't even do it anymore. You just order it.
There's even like that Amazon grocery store that was
What?
opened up where you
In
don't even
Minnesota,
have to,
or I don't know where it is.
somewhere in the States where basically you don't even have to pay. You basically have Amazon on your phone. You walk in, you walk out. Everything that you walked out with gets charged to your Amazon account because there's some sort of sensor that detects exactly.
That's nutty.
Oh
Yeah.
wow! I've never heard of that.
Yeah, there's one location that was opened up. Basically, Amazon had bought out some large chain of supermarket that was basically on its way down. They bought them out and then started implementing this service. I'm not sure how well it's been doing, but I know it does exist and has and possibly still is. I think it's likely still is being tested. But just to touch on flying cars real quick, both Neil deGrasse Tyson and Elon Musk have said it's impossible. And
Yeah.
will basically never
Yeah,
happen.
I've heard
Yeah.
I've heard them say that, but I was
Yeah.
just using that as an example,
Right.
like for some radical
Mhm.
technology that
Man,
we don't
have you seen these the way that people drive in like Brampton and shit like that? And you want to give them flying cars? Are you
This
crazy?
fucking
Fuck that.
tailgating.
But Black Mirror shit. That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah, like
Like that. Like you said VR, like
yeah,
AI,
VR and like user interfaces embedded into our
augmented reality.
Yeah, augmented reality into our fucking temples or some shit. And I just wanted to ask one quick question. Do you guys know about Amazon's effort to like make drone delivery a thing? Like, are they still working on that? Like,
I
Do
know
you
that
know?
that they want that they definitely wanted to do it. However, I think that they're running into a bunch of issues. I mean, for one, obviously, how are these things going to be manned,
Mhm.
right? Aside from that, they can only hold packages a certain size.
Yeah.
Aside from that, if the drone fails and it falls
Yeah,
midair,
loses connection or something.
yeah, exactly. Your
Yeah.
package is gone. Someone can fucking intercept it. You know, they can shoot it down, or
Yeah,
if
it
it
doesn't take much.
doesn't take much to intercept a drone.
Yeah.
So those are issues that they're definitely experiencing, and I don't think it's possible. Right
dude,
now.
that would be weird as fuck. You know how many drones would be flying around?
It would be.
What
There
if
would
they-
be traffic. Like they'd have to have like an aircraft
Yeah.
controller,
Mhm.
someone fucking in the air, like regulating the direction of these drones. Also, just fucking crash into each other. and
Yeah,
shit.
exactly. I was gonna say that they can easily crash into each other.
Yeah.
And then
Did
Man,
you
I wouldn't be able to
see-
take my dog outside.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
These things are
oh,
flying around everywhere.
drones crashing
True.
in front of your house.
Never mind, dude. He'd just be distracted.
Yeah.
that's true.
Did you guys see that video that was released and it was like an Amazon blimp?
No.
And then they,
That was fake.
It was fake, yeah.
Yeah.
But they opened up basically in this video, it was like a fake video and it was an Amazon blimp, and then they opened up the bottom and like just 100 drones came out. And it was like supposed to be like, oh, this is an Amazon's new system. They're delivering packages like this, but it was just a fake video.
Was it for April Fools? Or
No,
Yeah,
no,
I
it
think
was
it was.
released. No, I think it was. Oh, it very well could have been. It could. Yeah,
Because-
it was only a week ago, so yeah, it
Mhm.
could have been.
There are so many people that did April Fool's jokes. Like even Conor McGregor did one. Did you see it?
Was it the
didn't see
retirement?
It was he made a wine called a rosé called Champ's Champ.
Ah, that was an April Fool's.
And it was an
joke.
April Fool's joke. Like I don't know why people got on this flex this year of all April Fool's jokes. Like even Justin Bieber, and I don't know if you guys heard, but Justin Bieber and
His
Yeah,
wife.
there's a huge-
Haley Bieber now.
Mhm.
They made a joke that they had a kid,
Oh,
Or they're
fuck.
and there was
pregnant. A lot
she
of
was
people-
pregnant,
Yeah.
and there was an ultrasound and everything. They were with a doctor, and she looked like she had a bump,
That's fucked.
and it wasn't real.
It's
I-
free exposure at this point. Everybody
Yeah.
does it just because you know you're gonna trend. If
Yeah.
you're famous and up there, even if you're a company, whether you're like Walmart or something like that, throw out an April Fool's joke, and now all of a sudden everybody's retweeting you.
Mm-hmm,
So it just gets your brand out there a little bit more.
I saw and it takes zero effort.
It takes nothing.
You know, I saw a really funny one on the Maple Leaf subreddit, and it was talking about Joffrey Lupul makes his return for the playoffs, and he will he'll play more, he'll have more ice time than X person, or he'll be replacing X person. And I was like, holy fuck! I clicked on it. I'm like, wait a minute, it's April 1st, man! Like, you idiot.
Can you imagine if he just randomly came back? Is he still under contract with us?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When was
Can
the last
you
time he played?
imagine?
Oh,
2 years ago at least.
What
Can
the
you
fuck?
imagine getting paid? Did this guy just fucking goes and parties and does blow?
Imagine.
Dude, that's crazy.
That's nice. I'm pretty sure
It's
that's
true.
Imagine
oh, fuck.
that'd
pretty
be
sure
so fun.
he's been seen doing it.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, I don't want to be misinformed or anything, but
Yeah,
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure.
that's
So,
fucked.
Yeah.
But
Also, on that
yeah.
misinformed note, I stated clearly from a personal anecdote in that episode about how it feels like it's getting warmer here, like
Mhm.
objectively.
Mm-hmm.
And that was personally speaking. That was from my personal experience. There was no information to be taken from anywhere else because the source was me in that moment under the influence of alcohol. I'm done.
Also, just because you say that, they mentioned again, if you're listening, I hope that you are. Just point this out to us. You mentioned that there were in fact record low temperatures this year. I did some research. I couldn't find any evidence that showed that there were record low temperatures. So please, again, if you're listening, let us know. Send us an email or DM us on Instagram so we know exactly what you're referring to. Thank you.
You guys want me to say mine?
Yeah, next
Yeah.
question.
Okay.
No, he's got his answer.
I got my
Oh,
answer.
your
So
answer.
I don't know if you guys did this, but do you guys remember LimeWire?
Yep.
And,
yeah.
And I don't know what the Frostbite,
Yeah.
Frostwire.
Frostwire,
came
sorry.
after
Yeah.
Lime.
but
torrent.
so going from that to now Spotify, Apple Music,
Mhm.
how much easier it is to find music and like when music gets released. Like before we were like downloading something, and then you'd get it, you'd download it, and it'd be like some random shit. Like
Or it'd be a porn video.
It'd be like a
Yeah.
porn, or it'd be like some girl like literally moaning.
Yeah.
And then you'd be like, what the fuck? Like,
I
what the
know.
hell did I download? So,
Yeah.
like, going from that to, like, I guess the kids nowadays are going to be able just to find music whenever, while we were having trouble finding new music.
And there's a lot of good to come out of that. Like
Yeah.
for producers of music too. Like anyone can just make a piece of music and
Yeah.
put it on Spotify
Mhm.
or
A podcast.
iTunes. Yeah, a podcast. Like
Yeah.
it's so accessible. And my mom's actually like questioning me like, oh, like why are you paying for Spotify? Like it's because it's $10 a month.
And
that's not very much.
$5 for students.
$5 for students. You have access to like pretty much every song you can think of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like it helps your listens, like every time you listen to a song helps support that artist.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like I'm not too big on piracy anymore. You know, like when I was younger, like I'd try and pirate music,
Yeah,
pirate
we all
video
did.
We
games.
all did.
Yeah. But I'm not too big on piracy anymore. And I think that this direction that we're in now is
It's great.
good. It's ultimately
Yeah.
good for the industry.
Yeah, well, it makes more sense, right? Because you pay $10 a month, you get unlimited music.
Mhm.
Whereas, I don't know, just guessing here, say 10 years ago, we'd have to pay like $14.99
Mhm.
for an album, right? Now you're $10 a month. You want to download one album, you're already covered your cost.
Yeah.
So it's worth it in a lot of people's eyes, and I think that's why it like veers people off from pirating stuff.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
you get the bang for your buck. You do.
And
you
studies
can
actually
delete it.
show that piracy tends to lead to more sales because people who pirate things actually like gain an appreciation for what they pirated, and so it gives them an incentive to actually go out and purchase whatever they pirated or the next iteration of what they pirated. So like, you know, they pirate one game and then they decide to buy that either that same game or the next game by whatever developer. But
Yeah. I was gonna say that too. Even when it comes to like music now with Spotify, sorry,
It's all
now
good.
now with Spotify you can, like Joe said, listen to a song. Before we had to download the album, and then let's say we didn't like the song, then we had to go and delete it or go and find it in our files through our computer. Now you don't like a song, simply remove it from your library
Yeah. Or
It's-
skip it.
or skip it.
Yeah.
Even like that, yeah.
And the radio playlists, like, come
Yeah.
on. Man,
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Like that their algorithm is so good at finding like similar music to your tastes
Mhm.
Yeah.
and like finding things that you might be interested in, and it's really good, man.
Yeah.
Like I have like 5 genre radios that like on my playlist, but I think they kind of removed that option in the update.
They
not,
did. They
yeah,
did,
it's
I
a
think
little
they-
different. I'm not too.
Are you
I'm
guys
not
all on
too
Spotify?
fond of it.
I'm on Apple Music.
You're on Apple Music, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
for me, I've been on Spotify since I was a student because of that student rate. But I know Apple
Mhm.
has that same.
Yeah, they have a student
Yeah.
rate as well. But personally, I was always happier with Apple Music
Yeah.
just because I like being able to just go into my music and everything being there.
Yeah.
Because I like the Apple interface.
Yeah,
I like the way it looks
Mhm.
as opposed to the Spotify
Yeah.
one. But a lot of people are on the other side of that,
Yeah.
and I can understand why. Like,
Yeah.
everyone has their own personal preference, but for me, it's Apple Music. I'm pretty sure Lou is on Apple Music as well. And then you two are on Spotify.
We're on
right?
Spotify. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not too bad. We've got our last question, right?
No, did you guys did my question?
No, yeah, Lou's up next on Joe's question.
No, mine.
No, on Pete's.
On
Yeah.
Pete's
Pete's
question.
question.
Sorry.
Yeah. Do you want me to repeat it? You got it.
Yeah, repeat
Yeah.
it one more time for the listeners.
Sorry.
Yeah,
It's what is something that your generation did that no younger generation will ever get to experience?
Well, we already discussed a little bit, like obviously dial up straight to good internet, but we also mentioned social media.
Mhm.
But I was thinking YouTube. That was my first
Yeah.
thought. It was just like the birth of it, and really seeing where it was at the beginning to now, and no one will ever really see the old YouTube and know
Yeah.
it for what it was.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Cat videos and dog videos.
Yeah, well, now look, too. People are making careers out of YouTube,
Yeah.
Mhm.
right? That was never an opportunity when it was first birthed, and it wasn't even an idea when it was premature. Like, nobody thought that people are going to be making a living off of this platform. It was just for creative minds, pretty much.
Mhm.
And now we're seeing a lot of change in there, too, with all the demonetization and all that stuff.
Mhm.
But, yeah, we're progressing, so everything changes.
Yeah,
But, yeah.
definitely. But was that answered by everyone? Or?
Yeah, like I have no answer really
Yeah.
because we covered it pretty much.
Yeah.
yeah,
Like every
definitely.
basically like this like golden age of tech that we're in, like we grew up with it and we saw it develop, whereas the next generation is already in it. They're growing up with it and they're growing with it in the same way that we did, but for us it's a little bit different because we had some experience of life without it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Mhm. Definitely.
yeah, and like maybe like I don't know if this is like too big of a stretch or not, but like playing outside as a kid,
I was honestly
Yeah.
just
You
about to
know.
bring that up. How many times
or like
did you
eating
drive?
fucking dinner without looking at an iPad.
Mhm.
Dude, speaking of that, I was at Marcello's a couple of days ago, and I looked at this table, and there was these parents that just gave their kids maybe 3 iPads, all on Netflix, all doing what they want, and the parents are sitting having a conversation. Like, when did you ever see that 5 or 10 years ago?
Dude, that I really don't like.
I
that.
don't either.
Have you seen Wall-E?
Yeah,
That's literally Wall-E.
yeah.
It's
You
just
brought
like
it up, I
Wall-E.
think, on one of the
Yeah.
podcasts.
I think it was last episode of the week before the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mentioned that movie quite a bit because
It's true.
like it's supposed to be some kids movie, but it's actually so dark
Mhm.
and like a nice glimpse of the future that we're headed toward if we keep consuming and being so obsessed with stimulus like technology and,
Mhm.
or like media and shit like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that's that question, Lou. And your next question.
I got one for you guys. If you were a video game boss, what reward would someone get for defeating you? Or in other words, basically, if you died, what would you drop? I guess you
Mhm.
know.
A bottle of ketchup.
That's good. That's good.
That's it, man.
Does it give you like any HP or anything?
Fuck
Like,
yeah,
let's
all
see.
the HP.
Oh my god, it's a full boost
Yeah.
in your game, eh?
It's
It's a rage mode.
Like, make
no, no,
armor
no.
out of it,
So
too.
you take. So what you do is like you take the ketchup and you get a buff, and like I don't know what kind of stat it would buff. Maybe like
Gas.
aggression, or like gas,
Anger.
like or like magic. Like if it's
It's like mana?
like more mana, or like more magic penetration or some shit. The ketchup, the ketchup is the fuel of life.
All right.
Or maybe it'll kill you and give you stomach ulcers. All that shit though.
Yeah, the developers will figure that one out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be in the patch notes.
Yeah, 100%. How about you, Joe?
Fuck, I don't know. Move on to Pete.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sit here and think for a little bit.
I think this one's kind of obvious, but like money, I would say like you'd get like $1 million or like $2 million.
You
you're
saying
a
if
hard
you
boss
saying
to
if I
defeat. Yeah.
kill you right now,
Yeah.
you're dropping some heavy cash.
Yeah.
We get it, Peter. You're rich.
No, okay, I'm not saying that, but like, are we talking about real life? I thought we were
Yeah,
just
like if you were the video game
Oh.
boss, if the video game boss was Peter Nacarado, what
Okay.
would you drop if someone were to kill you? You're the final boss of the game.
Fuck my Nissan Rogue.
That's jokes. It would have to be like pimped out though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But money or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
a rare candy. No.
Candy.
I would drop okay, so I got two
Pete's?
things. One of them would be like a cosmetic,
Crown
like a
Royal.
yeah, right? Fuck. One of them would be like a cosmetic attribute that you've basically unlocked in the game, and it'd basically just be a beard. You can apply a beard now to
Oh,
your
okay.
guy. And then as a little bonus, like for every beer that you drink in the game, you gain a little bit of HP over X amount of time.
But you lose something else.
Yeah, well, it's usually stamina.
Sense
Yeah.
of awareness,
Yeah, stamina, sense of awareness,
balance.
like if it's like Skyrim, yeah, you'll lose like your sneak ability, and then you won't be able to What's the one where you speak with people to like lower their prices and shit?
The
What's
speech.
There's
That's the
speech, but then
speech
there's
trait.
one other. But then isn't there another one that's like kind of similar to speech, has similar benefits, except
I don't
it's
think so. Or it might be charisma, but that's Fallout.
that's no charisma. I think is it's not Skyrim
no,
or
it's
Elder
Fallout.
Scrolls games.
I think it's Fallout.
Anyway,
Yeah, but charisma, the higher charisma you have, like there's, or no, charisma is like it's one of your special traits, which
Mhm.
boosts your speech stat in Fallout. So speech is like the higher your speech stat is, the easier it is for you to barter, get lower prices, and like convince characters in the world to
right.
do shit.
So that's similar to one that there is in Skyrim. Then
Yeah, I think it is speech.
It is speech. Yeah, it's probably the same thing.
It probably is speech because I remember speech. I don't really remember anything else.
Mhm.
That's kind of like the same as that.
yeah. I must be wrong.
Mm.
Yeah, no, most definitely. Yeah, I'm looking at it here right now. Speech is that one. Why did I think there was a? Maybe I thought it was like a sub branch of types of speech: persuade, intimidate, brawl,
Persuade. That's
yeah.
it. Yeah. Okay.
But those are like in-game options.
Yeah, like
or
you can
in-text
choose to
options,
persuade
yeah.
them,
Mhm.
or
Man,
And the higher your speech, the higher your chance of
persuading.
persuading.
do
Yeah.
you guys
yeah.
remember playing Skyrim for the first time?
Yeah.
Hell
I
yeah.
could-
Like
I couldn't do it.
you couldn't do it.
No, like I was, cause how old were we when Skyrim came out?
We were in the 10th grade.
Yeah,
or grade 10. Sorry, grade
Christmas
10.
of grade
yeah.
10.
Yeah,
didn't
because
think-
it was Xbox 360. That's right.
Yeah.
I didn't finish it.
Mm.
I didn't finish it just because
Man.
there's so much to do in that game that
Yeah.
I got lost, and like you can easily get lost in that game and like just do side stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and it fucked me over, and then I just said, "Fuck it, I'm not playing this."
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
tons of hours you can put into
Yeah.
that game.
I think that you had to have played it then rather than now, because now it's like really dated.
Yeah.
And
It is.
like a lot of people still play it, and you
Mhm.
know I've tried to play it, but for some reason my game doesn't launch. I think it's because I did something with the modding,
Mm-hmm.
and like I have like one mod enabled that just crashes the game. But yeah, you definitely had to play it then to like really appreciate it, because now it's like too old.
Well, daily it's actually on the list of 100 most played games on Steam.
Yeah.
You know, you can view
Yeah,
those
like,
stats. But I see what you're saying.
most
I
people-
can't play it either anymore.
Yeah, like most people who play it like now have like a shit ton of mods on it,
Oh yeah.
like all kind, and that's why they play it, just for the mods.
They modded the fuck out of it.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
and the mods look beautiful. It's just too much
Oh, yeah.
work.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, not with the Steam Workshop. With the Steam Workshop, you literally hit download
Uh-huh.
and then and that's it.
It
Oh,
applies
really?
to the game directly.
Yeah, oh yeah, man. The Steam
didn't know
Workshop's
that.
great. There's Left 4 Dead has a lot of that too.
Yeah, but I like when I tried modding the game, like you had to download some other program.
That's because you pirated it.
No, I bought the game.
Oh, so then yeah, there's a Steam Workshop for it, and
Oh, what
it's
the
very
fuck?
very simple. Like I said, like even Left 4
I did
Dead.
pirate
like,
it. You're right.
You did, yeah. Because I
did,
think we
but
did
then
it
I
at the same
bought it.
time.
But then I bought
Yeah, it
it.
went
Like,
on sale a while ago on Steam. I think we bought it around
Yeah.
the same time. It was like $9.99 or something like
Mhm.
that.
Yeah, on the on Left 4 Dead, like one of the mods that I had was like your there's a sword in the game and it becomes a lightsaber, and the sound effects are a lightsaber too. Another one I had was like when the tank would come, you know, like when the tank would come out, it plays
Yeah.
that music, the John Cena music would just. be
Oh, I
playing
remember
it.
you
Yeah.
telling me that one. That one's hilarious.
Yeah, they had another one where the flashlight showed like it might have been like the Rick Roll face or like Michael Jackson's face or some shit like that, like in the
Yeah.
in the light. There was really funny shit. You can change your characters entirely. So Zoe for me in game was Elizabeth from
From
BioShock.
BioShock?
Yeah.
Wow.
They had really cool mods, and it was so easy with the workshop. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that Skyrim has one as well, and you guys can add some dope shit to
I'm
the
gonna
game.
have to look into that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
very,
try it
very
out.
easy.
I need to like kind of like figure out a way to make my game run, but like I'm just gonna forget after this.
Hmm.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well,
For me,
Is that-
yeah.
Yeah, Joe.
I don't know. Okay. This was kind of an easy way out, but I think it's good enough. So, if you were to kill me, you would get my dog
As
Now-
a companion.
as a companion.
Wow.
Now, he would eat all your food,
Mhm.
but you get max happiness.
Oh fuck.
That's good.
And what does happiness improve?
Happiness
in-game?
improves. I couldn't tell you. Just
I
Fuck
think that it
happy.
should be like the well rested bonus in Skyrim,
Mm.
where you can just get like improved health for X amount of time and like improved stamina for a certain period.
yeah, like
you
that.
know?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That would be for defeating me.
Does he have a limit though? Because you can't go without food. You know what I'm saying? Like, so he eats like the majority of your food, or like
He'll eat the
all?
majority
Okay,
of the food.
okay.
He won't eat all of it.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one. What do they call that in a familiar? That's what they call it. Like in
I was gonna say
RuneScape and
gluttony.
shit. Yeah. No, like in RS and shit. Like your dog or your whatever animal you have is called your familiar, I think. Yeah. But yeah. So we've all answered that one.
Yep.
Well concluded. The
All right.
Ask Reddit section.
Oh,
How
since
much
we're-
time are we at?
We are at 54 minutes right now. Yeah.
Okay. So since we're on games,
Mm-hmm.
we may as well keep the topic
Yeah.
still rolling since we're here. The Epic Games Store.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole controversy surrounding it. I know you guys know a little better than I do, so I'm gonna let you guys explain it. But I find it pretty interesting.
Yeah, well, so everyone in the PC gaming community knows that Steam is like the go-to place when it comes to purchasing games. Like Lou said, with the Steam Workshop modding games, and yeah, Steam is basically your platform when it comes to gaming on a PC. Now, with that said, there are a whole bunch of other stores and platforms that you can buy games on. So there's Uplay from Ubisoft,
Mm-hmm.
Origin from EA,
BattleNet.
Battle.net from Blizzard. There's Green Man Gaming or GOG or whatever.
That's a website though. You
That's
can
a
just buy cheap
website.
games.
Oh,
on-
there's Steam keys.
they still just sell Steam
They
keys.
sell Steam keys. Okay,
But
but
Epic Games
yeah,
and Rockstar.
and now Epic Games. There's also the Rockstar one, but Epic Games, there's some controversy right now with their involvement in the DRM field, or online video game store business. And yeah, the Epic Games Store now has Borderlands 3, I believe, is the biggest title that is going to be launched on that platform. And a lot of people are now review bombing some of these games for choosing to go on the Epic Games Store rather than Steam. And it turns out that Epic Games is funded by a Chinese corporation. This mega corporation called Tencent invested $330 million in Epic Games. And people think that this investment gives this company a lot of sway in the decisions that go on in Epic. And they also speculate that this Chinese company has a hand in the spyware that Epic Games is embedded into their thing. Now, Joe, you mentioned
Mm-hmm.
that what this spyware is about. Do you want to elaborate?
So basically, there were a bunch of players that were, well, there were some coders and stuff like that too,
Mhm.
tapping in and finding spyware within their Epic Games launchers and their games and such. And Epic came out and they tried to like debunk it and kind of just sweep it under the rug, saying that it was just gathering analytics, like player analytics and stuff like that. But yeah, further research, I'm sure it'll come out soon, and someone will really debunk it. Someone other than Epic Games, because obviously their opinion's gonna be biased. It's
Mhm.
gonna be a band-aid. So whether it's real or it's not, I'm sure we'll hear about it in the future.
I just before I even comment on the spyware, I just want to give a little bit more of an explanation to any listeners who aren't too familiar with video games and the platforms that we're discussing. Imagine Walmart has virtually everything that you need and want, and now all of a sudden Walmart stopped selling some of those things and started, and those items were being sold at smaller, arguably shittier stores that you probably don't want to go to because Walmart's the one-stop shop. That's basically what's happening. Some games, especially big titles, big products, are being removed or taken away from Steam and being applied to these smaller, again, arguably shittier stores.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Now-
Before you continue, another franchise that has transitioned to the Epic Store is Metro.
Oh,
The newest Metro game is Metro Exodus, is exclusively available on the Epic Game Store once it's released. And like I'm trying to find more. So we got Metro, we got Borderlands,
two really big titles.
two really
Yeah.
big titles. Borderlands 3, there's a lot of hype around it. Like the trailer, the community loved that trailer.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys watch it?
I did.
You did
Yeah.
watch it?
Yeah.
It looks pretty sick. We all have Borderlands too.
I
Yeah.
don't.
Peter doesn't.
No.
But yeah, and people are pissed off because they're just comfortable with Steam, and now they're forced to download another piece of software to play a game that they want to play. But continue with what you're gonna say, Lou.
Yeah, the thing about Steam also is that everyone, like anyone who plays PC gaming, has Steam. You have your friends list on Steam. It's very well optimized. They have basically everything that you need, and like I said, all of your friends and social in the gaming community are on there already. So to add to open up a whole new account, whole other software for the same thing, is pretty bullshit. About the spyware, we said that it was a Chinese. This is complete and entire speculation.
Yeah,
Haven't read
there's
anything
no
on this.
evidence yet.
Yeah, this is just me kind of talking or assuming, but a lot of the issue with spyware, people being concerned about the spyware. You said that that Epic Games covered it by basically just saying it was used to track their gamers' activity, just so they can know what suits them best, and just obviously use their basic algorithm, say what Instagram does, Google.
Yeah, we were just speaking on Spotify's algorithm as well.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that that a little bit of a concern. I mean, if the U.S. government goes as far as banning Huawei cell phones because there's a little bit of concern for Chinese spying basically embedded into these Huawei cell phones, I think there's potential cause for concern in this Chinese company investing so much money into Epic Games because now and potentially having access to that spyware, because maybe that's also just like a what do they call it, like wars that are not wars, but like surveillance, but there's like a specific word for it.
What, guerrilla warfare? I have no idea.
No.
Espionage.
I was just chucking a term.
Espionage is definitely a good word to use, but there's a specific one to use for
reconnaissance?
cyber. No, there's a specific word that's used in the cyber community for basically just like using things like that to your advantage. But if I think of it, I'll mention it. But yeah, I think that there may be a potential threat for that. If there's threat to begin with. If it's a real threat to begin with, I think that then this definitely adds a layer, and it could potentially be a ploy because whatever corporation is in China, they're closely monitored by the Chinese government, right?
They had their hand in like 100% mostly.
Basically everything.
Just to give a short little list of the things that Steam can do that the Epic Game Store can't do. So Steam can save game progress remotely and automatically in the cloud. Can store multiple user profiles that can be mapped to different games, allow users to review games and share those reviews, allow users to participate in dedicated forums, share their accounts, the games that they own with multiple members of their family, and stream games to other devices. So that's what Epic Games can't do. Now these features, especially like sharing games, like they're huge, and streaming to other devices, that's also huge. So like it's understandable that people are a little bit pissed off, but I mean, like, it's kind of just like a little butthurt thing.
It is,
you know,
because
like when it comes to just like having to download another piece of software, there's just a few button clicks. You know,
we've done it
just
several times.
Yeah, we're forced to do it with Uplay and with the Rockstar games.
You want to play Overwatch, you have to download Battle.net.
Exactly, you know.
But which is fair. But I play Overwatch on Battle.net because Overwatch is an exceptional game.
Exactly.
I played Fortnite on Epic Games because it was the biggest thing. Everyone was playing it, so I'm obviously playing. Apex. I play on EA Origin because
League has its own client.
League, right? But see, League is
League's an individual game though,
and it's one game and it's a free game, right? So I don't. I see what you're saying. You just download it. It doesn't take any clicks, and I already have the software downloaded.
Yeah.
I have Epic Games. I have Origin. I have all the ones that we mentioned here.
Yeah, exactly.
Uplay is definitely the worst one, but I have all of them. But with that said, I don't want any more of my games to be decentralized. I want them all to be on Steam. You know, I would put Overwatch onto Steam if I could. Yeah, I would put Overwatch onto Steam if I could. I would put League onto Steam if I could. I would put any game on my computer onto Steam if I could, because the majority of my games are on Steam. I have 65 games in my Steam library. I have about 2 games on my Battle.net library and 1 game on my Epic Games library.
Well, you could put shortcuts in your Steam library. I mean, like, it's not entirely the same thing, but like the centralization of your games, definitely convenient and ideal. I see nothing wrong with gamers being upset about this.
Yeah.
I see nothing wrong with it. I just think it's a little bit like butthurt that they're going to this like extent. Like exclusive games have been a thing since the Nintendo Sega rivalry.
Yeah.
You know, like this is not something new. You know, if you wanted to play Sonic, you had to buy a Sega. If you wanted to play Mario, you had to buy a Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you want to play Borderlands 3, unfortunately, you have to download the Epic's game store.
But why? The issue with this that I find is that every other Borderlands is available on Steam.
Right.
You
That's why people are upset,
Yeah.
especially
of
with
Duty.
Metro and Call of Duty. You just informed me earlier that it's now on the BattleNet, not Steam anymore, right?
Yeah, that's right. Call of
Well, the
Duty
newest
Black
one,
Ops,
Black Ops
4. 4 is on BattleNet, not Steam,
Mm-hmm.
which is crazy because every other Call of Duty game is on Steam.
Yeah.
You know, so why not just keep it centralized? And why are you forcing me to
Yeah.
use these other softwares that I don't exactly have interest
The
in?
biggest issue I have with this is that the Epic Game Store has like such a lack of features in comparison to Steam, and that now that they have such deep pockets, they can pay however much they want or however much money they can afford to buy these big titles.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I understand is that Valve takes 30% cut of the revenue for games.
That's Steam, by
That's
the way.
Steam.
Or
Yeah.
Steam takes 30% cut of the revenue that they receive from game sales, while Epic will only take 12%. So that's giving developers a further incentive to put their games on that platform.
Well, yeah, it's less than half too, right? So it's not even like they're just barely undercutting them. Epic is really undercutting Steam here. And if I was a developer, why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
I get there's a lack of features and stuff like that on the Epic Games library, but I mean, if I'm gonna make more money just by putting my game on a platform as opposed to another platform, like why wouldn't you?
Yeah, it's just money. It's just
that's
math.
that's what it is. If they're
Yeah.
gonna make more money, they're gonna make more money, and
It's
that's
just
the way it's
capitalism.
working. And that's why a lot of people are upset as well. And it's because this Epic Games launch is really undercutting
Mm-hmm.
by it's evident. 12%, that's insane.
18% difference, yeah.
It's exactly. It's more than half.
Yeah.
So that's what's outraging a lot more people. And again, there's obviously Steam has been around for a very long time, and it's been everybody's main source.
Mm-hmm.
So there's obviously going to be people boycotting because it's our childhood. It's our childhood application.
The 90s.
Yeah, that's the only thing we used, and people don't want to transition to something else because they're so accustomed to Steam for reasons like you said.
Mhm.
Having your friends list there is just one of the reasons. The optimization
Optimization's huge.
is massive.
Yeah,
So
it's definitely a refined program.
150%, and it's because they've had all of these years
Mm-hmm.
to optimize it, to see what works, see what doesn't work based on their player interfaces.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, you know, man, I must say that Borderlands isn't a game that I have a particularly high amount of interest in, regardless. And I am not that I was exactly like sold on it, but I am definitely less inclined to buy it because it's on the Epic Games because it's on the Epic Games software or on the Epic Games platform. If it was like Red Dead Redemption, for example, I'd obviously buy it on Epic Games. I'd buy it on any platform, you know. I bought GTA 5 on the Rockstar Games platform because it was $10 cheaper than it was on Steam when the game was first released on PC. So, considering like a game that's not exactly same thing with Metro, you know, like I don't have particular care for Metro, but if it was on Steam, I know they do summer sales, right?
yeah,
Now they got an 80% drop on it, which Epic Games I haven't really seen. Well, I've only ever seen Fortnite on it, to be honest. But BattleNet, for example, like they don't really have these huge drops in prices and stuff, you know, where Steam oftentimes offers that. So
Yeah, that's why people love it, man. That's why I built a computer just for the summer sales. To be
exactly, man.
honest, most of the games
Exactly.
I bought were either from like the spring deals or the summer sales, and like they have been a bit lackluster. But that's just because I bought pretty much everything I was interested in
Mm-hmm.
that one summer. But I think that the spyware, the issue of spyware or like the analytic tracking that they call it, I think that's the most concerning thing.
mm-hmm.
I mean, at this point, the data harvesting from big tech companies is like an inevitability. Everyone does it. Google does it. Apple does it. Amazon does it. Everyone's doing it. but I think it's just a little bit invasive for it to come on a hobby. You know, we're
Yeah.
playing video
Mhm,
games.
mhm.
Why do we need to be treated like guinea pigs? And especially with this new paranoia about the Chinese government dealing in it,
Mm-hmm.
that's I think that's the most concerning aspect of it,
Mhm.
and that I think holds the most weight when it comes to the outrage.
Cyber warfare, by the way. That's the word I
Cyber
was looking
warfare,
for.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's definitely a crock of shit, if you will, you know.
Yeah, I love
The
that
fact
word.
that,
Crock of shit.
You know what, man? The thing is that it's like, yeah, why should we be used as guinea pigs? But at the same time, it's a business just like any other. And if everyone's using this model, if basically virtually any business is using data analysis and stuff
Yeah,
to tend to their users,
I'm sure Steam
why
does
the
it
hell
too.
not? Yeah, no,
I'm sure
for
Steam
sure,
does it too.
for sure.
I'm just saying that like this is something we do for fun, you
Mhm.
know,
yeah,
and like it's just being commodified, like the way our habits and the way that we play games, the way that we enjoy games, the games we buy, the things we say, it's just being commodified, and
mm-hmm.
I don't like that, but there's nothing I can fucking do about it sitting here in the basement talking about it.
Well, we can spread awareness at the very least.
Yeah, we could spread awareness, but what's gonna happen? You know, people are gonna stop fucking buying games. That's not gonna happen.
No, that'll never
No.
happen.
You know, people say, "Oh, vote with your wallet" on the Reddit comments. Like, people are still gonna buy these fucking yearly released games. It doesn't matter
Mhm.
what the fuck you say.
Mhm.
I did hold off of Call of Duty for like 4
Yeah,
years.
so
I
did
was
I.
just about to use
Yeah.
Call of Duty as an example.
Mhm.
So did
Look
I.
at them. They haven't been, for a very long time, they weren't listening to their audience whatsoever,
Mhm.
but still releasing these games year after year. These characters are flying and stuff like that. Nobody wanted that.
Mhm.
Yeah,
People are still buying
yeah.
it just because the title is Call of Duty, and people just they'll put their expectations aside
Mhm.
and say, "Hey, it's a Call of Duty. May as well just get it."
Same thing with FIFA.
So
Yeah.
FIFA,
Yeah,
FIFA's
dude, that's big.
a big one because FIFA's the same game every single year with
The
different
exact
menus.
same game though.
That's all
Different
it is.
menus and different songs for you to fucking
Yeah.
think about.
That's all
every
it is,
2
and
fucking
maybe one
seconds.
different dynamic about how
Time
your
finishing.
player reacts to a ball different or more
Mhm.
realistic in a sense. But
Yeah, I'm not buying
They-
the next FIFA.
They actually go
No.
back. They actually go back and forth on different FIFAs. So like from FIFA 12, like they'll add something in that they took out from FIFA 12 to to FIFA 14.
Yeah, like the finesse
but
shots.
FIFA 13 won't have that. So they go back and forth
yeah.
from different stuff.
yeah,
to
so
keep it,
people can
quote,
sit there and be like,
fresh.
"Oh, you remember FIFA 12? You remember those finesse shots from FIFA
Yeah.
12? They're back in 14. Gotta
Yeah.
get FIFA 14."
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's something that should have been already in the game because it was already integrated 2 years ago.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, FIFA 13 was the near post. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, there's
It was
that's
about
another game
pace.
too. It's just so easy. It's so easy to exploit. It's the same thing, game after game. It's the same things that work all the time.
this year they have been doing a good job as far as I last played of
No,
keeping
they-
up with the exploits and changing them around. You know,
They do,
making new
and
patches.
even when it comes to their card making, like they've really upped their game with that.
I feel like they've gone overboard this year.
Yeah,
It's
really
good.
They
No.
they really went in trying to get those microtransactions
Yeah, man.
with all of these different promos. I remember when we first started the podcast and we were doing soccer and we'd touch on FIFA. Every single week that we did soccer talk and FIFA talk, there was a new promo every single week.
Mhm.
I don't
It's
know,
insane.
Are
It's
they still keeping up with it?
Yeah, yeah.
there's
dude,
still promos.
They have,
There's birthday and
they have
there's
man of the match.
Yeah, I saw the Carnival.
Yeah.
yeah.
There was
They have
the-
player of the
the
month for an
thing-
MLS now.
yeah. The thing is oh, they do?
Yeah, it's
Oh.
Carlos Vela got it this year.
Wow.
This month.
What's their overall?
He's like an 87 or 88.
Wow.
Should I play FIFA?
No, man.
No, but
Link 'em
the
to your
thing is,
Ibra.
they fucking release these shiny little cards, and like they're all purple and blue and red and
Mhm.
fucking green or whatever, and then people are like, oh, let me just put some money in my account and open some packs.
You know, what's $27.99 for us
But
Canadians?
see, the thing is that
Mhm.
$27.99, you know how quickly it adds up.
You know how quickly it goes.
Yeah, I was
too?
about to say
Yeah.
that. You know how quickly it's gone, just like that.
Yeah, and it's fucking horrible, man. I want to break that disc in half. I haven't bought in packs in a good amount of time, and but I'm still broke. But like, I would be much worse if I was
Guaranteed.
buying packs still.
No, I've definitely noticed like just like, you know, when you go to pay your Visa and stuff and you see
Yeah.
the transactions, since I stopped playing FIFA, I've definitely noticed that not as many transactions are in there. You know.
Oh, dude, I was in the exact same boat when we were on our League of Legends.
Yeah.
When we were on the climax of our League of Legends,
Mm-hmm.
all of the statements I'd see
Yeah.
for riot points.
Mm-hmm. See, League I never put too much into.
I never put too much into either, but it was just the little amounts that I would put. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? It would be
yeah.
to add $5 here, add another $5 in a week or two because I have that remaining amount and I almost have enough for something else. You know what I mean?
That's
now,
how they get you.
Yeah, now I see that it's completely gone. And the same thing for FIFA because I haven't really been playing too much. It's definitely a better thing because I haven't really been spending any money on
Mm-hmm.
the PlayStation Marketplace whatsoever.
Yeah.
So,
No, definitely. But yeah. So I mean, aside from video games, we're sorry to any listeners who don't have particular interest in it, and happy for those who do. But we do have a big hot topic that's been going on around Ontario.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, and even across the country over the last week and probably about 1 week now. And it has to do with Doug Ford and teachers in Ontario. Jules, if you'd like to take it away.
Yeah, so thousands of people gathered in Queen's Park this weekend to protest the proposed changes to the education system in the province. And teachers, parents, and students are all concerned about a certain education minister named Lisa Thompson. She's released some statements that on the state of the education system that have sparked some controversy. And these changes are supposedly meant to take measures to, quote, modernize classrooms. And people are fucking pissed off.
What are the just for the listeners? What are the changes? Yeah.
Well, there's a bunch that the media is really sticking to.
Yeah.
And there's also a bunch that the media isn't like completely ignoring. First off, there's a province-wide ban on cell phones in classrooms, except for educational purposes. A proposed increased class sizes from an average of 22 students. This is in high school, of an average of 22 students to 28, and marginal increases from grades 4 to 8 in the average class sizes, but grades 3 and below are completely unchanged. Those average sizes are completely unchanged.
What's this grade 4 to 8 change?
I think I'm
Is it
not sure. I couldn't
it-
find an exact number, but it's
is-
not as big as 22 to 28.
Oh,
20
I thought it was bigger. I thought it was.
No.
I thought they were talking about putting 40 kids in a class.
That's what I heard.
Well,
That's what I heard
The thing is
too.
that like that's the average class size,
Okay.
right? So like
The
some
average, yeah.
classes will have like 15 students, while others will have 40.
Yeah.
But like from the average going from 22 to 28,
It's a big.
that's pretty big.
Yeah, it's a big jump because if the average is that, when we were in elementary school, I think we graduated 2010 from elementary school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we were in grade 7, 8, we had 30 kids
30
a class.
kids a class. Even
30
in
kids
high
a class,
school.
4 classes.
Even in
30
high
was the
school.
max. That's
30
why.
was the max.
So
Yeah.
the average, if it's only 22, it's not really showing the actual, like there are schools that are doing 30 kids in a
Yeah.
class 100%.
Mhm.
So by them stretching it, that's I think where the number 40 is coming in,
Yes.
because they're probably increasing the actual capacity itself and just really raising the ceiling.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're increasing the maximum.
That's what
class
I'm
size.
assuming. Yeah.
See, that I have that I definitely have a problem with.
Yeah.
And
Same.
That's
See-
not fair. Banning cell phones, however, I have zero problem.
Yeah, I have.
No, I don't
I
have.
have
I
no
don't have.
problem with that
issue
either.
I don't have a
either.
problem with that.
I
Well,
think
yeah.
everyone can agree that taking the focus off of social media or whatever the fuck these kids are concerned with and
Mhm.
onto their studies is the most important thing.
Yeah, but
Mhm.
even
It's not even a long time
But-
too.
when we're
It's
in
8 hours.
when we're in school,
Yeah, it's less than 8 hours.
8, less than 8.
It's less
That's
than 8
yeah,
hours.
when we were in school, we had to take notes. Now people are just going up taking pictures with their cell phones saying,
Yeah.
"Look, miss, look, mister,
Mm-hmm.
I did it. I took a picture. I have it." And they
Yeah.
never really read it. They never really take in the information.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there's that. Because I know we did that in high school, and it made a big difference in
Yeah.
comparison to actually taking down the notes yourself.
Mhm.
Personally, I've felt it impact myself.
Yeah, me
Math
too.
classes and
I've
stuff
done
like
it.
that too. You take pictures of the thing, you never really look over them.
Yeah.
Come time for a test, well, now it's showing that you didn't look them over. So
Definitely.
Well, so the issue that teachers specifically have with this increased average class size is that it makes it harder for them to cater to individual students' needs.
Yeah.
And Lisa Thompson, the education minister, said that this is meant to increase the resilience in students.
Oh my God, man.
Yeah.
Like.
So and prepare them for the world of work and post-secondary. Now,
Elementary school is not the place to do that, I don't think,
No.
in my opinion. When you're that young, a lot of kids don't even know what they want to do yet. And you're going to already start preparing them for the workplace, and that's I don't like that.
Here's the thing, man. Now, I have a recording here of what she said. And basically, one of the measures that the government is taking, and this is from the official government website, is that they're increasing, placing a more focused emphasis on science, technology, engineering, math, the STEM field,
Yeah.
and skilled trades, which is something we've been hearing for the last, I have no fucking clue how long.
5-10 years.
Yeah. But like you said, Joe, kids don't know what the fuck they want to do. And that the way that they're taking this pathway is that they're kind of just funneling them down one path or like a few paths, but it's the same thing. And I don't like it. No, so here's what she's saying. Oops, I fucked up. Sorry. Here we go.
Because that's where the jobs lie.
What about the arts?
Oh, you know what? I thank you for bringing that up. That goes without saying. I think there needs to be a balance, but again, arts are important. There needs to be a balance.
What does that mean, a balance? A balance.
Well, you know what? Let's think about it this way. People need to have an appreciation and an exposure to music, to arts, to all of that. It's in my mind, it's innate. For a balanced student coming out of a secondary school, we need to make sure that there is an appreciation for arts, for music, and everything that whole realm embraces. But when it comes to the world of work, we need to make sure our students have the skills in the pathways that are providing jobs. For instance, we have a lot of jobs waiting for kids interested in pursuing skilled trades. Not only jobs, but great quality of life that people need to be excited about. Currently, when I was with the Toronto Board of Trade yesterday morning.
Yeah, so so you heard that,
Yeah.
right? Basically, the emphasis is taken off of the arts, which I don't really have a problem with, because a lot of people see that as an unemployable field of study. But at the end of the day, if a student wants to go down that path, that student can choose to go down that path.
Yeah.
Why is the government imposing these strict sort of barriers as to where they can, or as to what direction they can take with their life? You know, this message that she's sending is that it's not really beneficial for students to appreciate. Like, yeah, you can appreciate the arts because it's innate, but what the fuck does that mean? And then she just goes on, quickly brushes it off, and talks about skilled trades.
She repeated the same thing about 6 times.
Yeah, exactly.
Which was that we need to appreciate arts, but focus
when it
on the
comes to
STEM,
work,
basically,
you
and
got to
skilled.
be either a scientist or a technologist or an engineer or a mathematician. That's what basically you need, and that's important. You know, we need people in those fields.
Yeah.
And the thing is that there's going to be people in those fields no matter what. The government doesn't have to force that down into students.
Because now we're going to have people going into these fields uninterested in these fields. And how shitty would it be to go to the doctors and your doctor doesn't care about what he's doing?
Yeah.
It puts people in a really bad situation. They're not, like you said, they really are funneling. They're trying to give people this tunnel vision, saying that this is what you have to become. These are the most employable routes that you should take and need to take. But if you take these other ones that you're interested in, like the arts or music, well, I don't think you're going to get a job. I don't think you're going to be employed.
Yeah.
You might like it,
And-
but there's no place for it.
And that certainly paints the picture, like you said, that there's no place for it, that there are no jobs there. And that's so discouraging, man. What if someone has a really burning passion to be a musician or an artist or something, or a journalist?
Mhm.
or anything outside of the realm of the STEM field.
Right.
How discouraging is that this education minister says that these are where the jobs are, or skilled trades.
Mhm.
Yeah, you want to be a skilled tradesman? Sure, they make a bunch of fucking money, but the toll that takes on your body, by the
Mhm.
time you're 35, you have no cartilage in your knees, or whatever, whatever body problems you have. But beyond that, what are you gonna say?
Yeah, I think that a large issue with this is that it's basically it's proved that people have I guess inherently different interests or traits, to a degree,
Mhm.
right? So the STEM fields aren't meant for everybody, plain and simple, right?
Yeah.
They're sure as hell not meant for me, for as an example, personally. What is meant for me, I don't know, but that's a different concern. But they're not meant for everybody, so it's definitely unfair to apply that tunnel vision as you guys said, right? Because there are so many people that that are going to be forced, or potentially forced to focus the majority of their studies, or be basically like they're going to be able to see around them that this is where the importance is being put on them by schools, but it just again simply may not be for them. So how can they be forced to study those if it's naturally basically
Yeah.
not what they're interested in, right?
Exactly.
And aside from that, especially on the kids on the class count being increased, they discussed resilience. We've discussed before on the show that there for each of us was probably less than a handful of teachers that have inspired us,
Mm-hmm.
and increasing that. And I think that's likely. I don't want to say that the teachers don't care, but there are definitely some teachers who don't who aren't as passionate about teaching as others. Now, if a lot of teachers are given a bigger classroom, maybe the ones that truly are passionate will find it more difficult to express that passion or relay it over to larger groups of kids,
Mhm.
right? And
Mhm.
even inspire individuals, because they have, if at the very least right now they can inspire individuals, they may have a harder time doing it with larger classes because there's more kids for them to take care of, right? So I think that the increase in class size is definitely a major issue, and focusing solely on STEM. I mean, the arts have been dying for years and years,
Yeah, they have.
Yeah,
right.
that you can't deny that.
but they're making explicit claims now against them, and basically completely devaluing them. As much as she wants to say, "Oh, it's important to appreciate the arts," she's evidently devaluing them,
Mhm.
and that's not right. It's not fair, and it's like I said, just not for everybody, right? So that's what I
Do
have to
you-
say
Yeah.
on that.
Do you guys think that more kids are not going to go to class if the class sizes do get bigger?
I think it's a big problem because I remember speaking about this on a previous episode,
Mhm.
and I believe it was the episode about which teachers inspired us.
Yeah, it most likely was.
Coming from an elementary school where the class sizes were 30 kids, I found in a less intimate environment, it's tough to really get to know your teacher. There are so many kids that this teacher needs to tend to, and you're just a number
Yeah.
at that point. And with the ceiling being raised even higher now, it makes it even worse because I know I was very shy, and I only broke this shell in, I think, college, really, where I would really step out of my comfort zone and ask questions I wanted to ask in front of people. Mainly just because being around all of those people, it's discouraging getting something wrong just because you don't get any satisfaction from it. Like the teacher's not going to pull you aside after the class and say, "Well, here's what you can do better if you do something wrong." They don't have time for that.
Yeah,
that's
they're
that's
already
definitely
worse.
They're
that's
already
definitely
sorry, go.
so no please
They're
please.
already walking out of the door, the teacher, and going into the next class, like you were basically
That's
saying.
exactly
Yeah,
it,
so
with
they have
Rotary
no
and stuff like
no
that.
time because they have to focus on another 40 kids that's going to be in the next class.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually a really good point, man, about the intimacy. I like that, and about you being able to stand up and say it could be a wrong answer. And when you're a kid, you always, even now, like people are more keen to like underestimate what they want to say, even if it is right or whatever right may be in their particular case. They'll be nervous to say it, right?
Mhm.
And in larger classrooms, it's more likely that more kids will be discouraged to express what they want or answer a question, whatever it may be in class, right? So that's interesting. It's definitely not good. It's definitely not a
Yeah.
good thing for the kids. And they can say it builds resilience, but
But-
I think that it's yeah, I
If
don't
someone's
think
not
that that's-
interested, they're not interested, and it's going to be
Mhm.
tougher for the teacher to keep all these kids in account. Who's
Mhm.
talking? Who's not paying attention? It's going to be easy to not see those kids in a 40 kid classroom,
Mhm.
whereas a 15, 20 kid classroom, you can see who's making the noise. You can see who's not paying attention and might need some extra help,
Mhm.
and they're just afraid to ask.
That's another thing.
And it won't happen in a 40 kid class, which is my beef with it, really.
Yeah, and while they're increasing or potentially increasing class sizes, they're also freezing the hiring of teachers,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it goes simultaneously. It's like they're now are these now the current teachers that are teaching, are they going to be compensated more? Are they going to be getting paid more money for
I doubt it.
No,
Yeah,
Right.
I do
I doubt
doubt
it.
it's a completely unfair process that I'd say even reflects many of the issues that people discuss in classes in the United States, right?
The Toronto District School Board estimated that about 800 jobs across the board will be lost if these changes were to be put in place.
And this is just Toronto.
Just the Toronto District School Board.
Wow.
And so let's get back to resilience for a second. The definition I'm reading here on Google right now just says it's the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties. Now, when there have been studies that have shown that smaller classrooms, in fact, do lead to better learning environments.
Mhm.
Now, the thing about resilience is that if you're going to build toughness, or like if you're going to try and teach kids to bounce back quick in their formative years, when they're young in high school and whatnot, I don't think you can just do that in a classroom. You know, there's so many factors
Mhm.
that contribute to a student's resilience. You don't know what's going on at home.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what societal pressures they're facing, or familiar pressures, or community, or what their community is going, what's going on in their community, or even personally, you know.
Yeah. I was gonna say
And
that.
I think whatever sort of resiliency that Lisa Thompson thinks that increasing classroom sizes is going to instill in students is marginal at best.
Mhm.
I think it's going to make a bunch of soldiers, is what it's going to do.
Yeah.
It's forcing a lot of people to go into these fields
I'm trying to
prepared.
homogenize us.
Yeah, just prepared to work for someone.
Mhm.
It's not preparing anyone to be a leader,
Mhm.
really. I think that's a big problem, because you're not going to see all of these people coming out saying, I want to be a CEO. It's going to
Mhm.
be, no, I want to work under someone at a doctor's office. I
Mhm.
want to be, I don't know,
I want to be
an
a lab
engineer
assistant.
under someone.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Not everyone wants
Well,
to do that.
No.
Man, you're saying resilience. The way I feel about that is on the exact same strain, or the exact same thought, is that how can these kids, if they're in larger classrooms, how can these kids even build the resilience if, for example, you know, the idea you said that it's to bounce back quickly alongside of your environment and basically
Hmm.
resist, I guess, any pressures that are being added, right? How can they really be resilient if, say, hypothetically, they were, you know, discouraged or not doing so well in school? How can they even learn that resilience if they aren't even given the opportunity to bounce back to begin with,
Mhm.
right? So, I mean, aside from that, like, that ability to bounce back is just, you're just suppressed more, especially because there's oftentimes that feeling. Well, look, when someone's discouraged, it's so much easier to just let it slide even further downhill instead of truly bouncing back, right? And with smaller classrooms, at least there's a small chance that a teacher can help you bounce back,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Hmm.
More kids, less one-to-one influence on them via the teachers. So I think that resilience is actually just going to, or whatever she's claiming, is just going to fall back and be the exact opposite.
Yeah, and teachers, one of their biggest complaints is that it makes, say, having a class of 40 students rather than 30 is going to be a lot more difficult to manage. It's going to be a lot more difficult to fit 40 desks
Mhm.
in a classroom, or give that support, that one-to-one support, to 40 unique students with unique needs,
Yeah.
diverse backgrounds, all sorts of variables. That's going to be really difficult for them. And I personally don't like these changes. You know, Lisa Thompson can say whatever she wants about resiliency and preparing students for the world of work. But students are going to be prepared for the world of work as they mature. That's just
Exactly.
something that comes naturally. The government can't force that
Mhm.
onto people. And yeah, I mean, these what we were just talking about right now is the biggest thing that the media is latching onto, and that's like the biggest part of the protest. And there are quite a few more changes that they're proposing. And so one of them is Bill 48, the Safe and Supportive Classrooms Act. It makes amendments to a few different acts that were put in place in 1996 and 2007. And basically, it revolves around sexual misconduct, and punishments will be put in place to hold teachers accountable for sexual misconduct through revocation of certifications. And there's going to be more accommodation for students who require the use of service dogs, and granted authority to the minister to issue policies surrounding service animals. So there's that.
Yeah, there's a
No,
little
I
bright
haven't heard
side
that on
in my
CBC.
opinion. No, they're not gonna broadcast
Yeah.
Mhm.
anything that's in
No.
the positive light, mainly because the negative side of it is it's so wild right now with all the protests, and that's really what the protests are revolving around.
Mm-hmm.
So
And there's also a new requirement for registering with the Ontario College of Teachers that involves the successful completion of a math skills test. Now, this I have no problem with.
No.
Because as you said earlier, is that some teachers are better than others. And I am sure that some of these like really old teachers near retirement would not be able to pass this math test whatsoever. I'm so sure
Possible,
about that.
Yeah.
And that just ensures that the quality of teachers is at the standard that we need for this province.
Right. Definitely.
So there's that, and like that's these are some beneficial things.
Mhm.
But
know.
all of those things should have been effective anyway.
They should have
Exactly.
exactly. That's
Yeah.
the thing. They should have been put in place already.
Mhm.
You know,
And
sexual misconduct should have been punishable by the revocation of your certification, like
at any point
50
in
years
time.
ago, or yeah, exactly. The minute that this system was put in place.
Mm-hmm. And like service animals, I mean, I doubt. I really don't know, but I doubt there have been many cases where people have
Mhm.
been denied their right to take
Right.
service animals, because you're allowed to take a service animal virtually anywhere already, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in a school setting, I mean, I doubt that would be revoked or even be an issue. But hey, if it's written down on paper, I guess it means more. One thing more that I wanted to say, I kind of remembered something that Jordan Peterson has said. Well, constantly preaches. I mean, not that he's a religious preacher, but constantly discusses is that this push for the STEM fields to be studied more effectively, I guess, in schools, elementary and high school. And we discussed how it was meant to prepare people for the workplace, right? Or Lisa Thompson rather mentioned that it was with the purpose of preparing people effectively for the workplace. And then we said that, well, it may not necessarily it may not necessarily make people want to work more, or if they do, they might not have as much creativity or entrepreneurial, I guess, motivations,
Mhm.
right? And I think that an issue with that is that what Jordan Peterson always says, that one of the most what society is lacking right now. He talks specifically on a lot of young men, is that we're lacking a sense of purpose.
It's a crisis of purpose. Yeah.
Crisis of purpose, and forcing, I guess, they're not addressing that is what I'm saying through
Mhm.
these new changes. And just teaching more STEM, or enhancing, I guess, is definitely a good thing. It's always good to enhance things, but there has to be, not to sound like these
Has
times,
to
but
be
there
a
has to be a balance, right?
Yeah.
And I think that purpose is more important when preparing people for the workplace. If you let them know and explain to each and every student that they do have a purpose in life, and as an adult, they'll be more likely to be successful, or at least fulfill whatever purpose that they're meant for, which will lead to like lower rates of depression and more higher rates of success, I'd guess, because if people feel as though they have that purpose, then they have something to work towards,
Mhm.
right? So you can I mean, I'm nowhere nearly as good as speaking about it as Jordan Peterson, but you should definitely look up Jordan Peterson Crisis of Purpose or something to that effect, and you'll find some really good stuff on that. It's well worth the listen, read, whatever. It's well worth it, period.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, like I mean, this government that we have right now, like the provincial government, they're not popular among the people.
Nah, because they're trying to make a
And
lot of changes.
now-
That's what it is.
This is like nothing to do with research. This is going to be a pure estimation.
Mm-hmm.
The question I'm about to ask for you guys, like, do you think that the reason that the Conservatives won this election is because they did a really good job of demonizing Kathleen Wynne
Kathleen Wynne did a good job of demonizing herself.
herself? That is
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. And
But do you think that is like a huge reason for them winning the election rather than their actual platform? Like pretty much what he had to offer is a buck of beer
well, he's
and lower
definitely
gas prices.
he was definitely gas prices are huge.
Yeah, and
and,
look at it
um,
now.
yeah,
The
yeah,
government
they're-
stepped in.
We've
fucked that up.
gotten
It's
neither.
done fuck all.
Yeah.
So
But I think that he's a populist, obviously, right? So that definitely played on
Yeah.
a lot of people's strings. Me personally, I voted Doug Ford. I'm not afraid to
Yeah.
say that, and I don't
Me
regret
too.
voting Doug
I
Ford.
did too.
And I mean, yes, these school changes are bullshit, but the reason I don't regret voting Doug Ford is because, and why I predicted I'll vote Conservative in the upcoming Canadian election, is simply because a lot of what has to do with government is obviously the economic and the financial standpoint, right? And the Liberals are always pushing and discussing lowering taxes for the lower income and such, right? Which us as young people, we think, oh, fuck yeah, you know, that's good. That's good for me. That's good for so many people. That's good for my parents, for example, you know? And in fact, that's it's not at all the case. I mean, I predict in my future that I'll basically, I mean, be like equally as do equally as well as my parents did, as I'm sure that, or if not better, right? As I'm sure you guys would hope for yourselves as well, right? And I can almost guarantee that none of our parents have seen the benefits of such tax. Breaks, I guess. I don't really want to use the word tax breaks, but I doubt that any of our parents have seen real benefits of tax breaks and such, and new legislation imposed by the Liberal government. So, I mean, yeah, definitely it had to do with the fact that Kathleen Wynne was so demonized. But at the same time, I think that people are recognizing that there's a threshold for what low income is considered, like middle class is considered in the eyes of the government. And some people weren't exactly happy because they weren't seeing the positives that they were promised, right? A lot of people are. The people who are genuinely lower income, I think it's like, we can call it like $50,000 in the household or less. But anyone above, like basically $100K in the household, hell, $60K in the entire household is
You're doing well at that
Yeah.
point
well,
in comparison to the.
you're considered. Yeah, I guess comparatively you're doing well. But the
Mhm.
thing is that like the way I see it is that like my household, as I'm sure, like again, we're all coming from very similar households, right?
Mhm.
The four of us here. Our parents aren't rich, you know. I know
No.
mine aren't,
No, mine
right?
aren't.
Yeah.
And I mean, growing up, I don't want to say that I was like I was concerned about money growing up. However, growing up, I always did kind of think like, oh shit, like is my family like.
Yeah, man. That's
Yeah,
natural, though.
no, it is.
Right?
It is.
That's
yeah.
natural.
Right. See, and then and obviously that's stemming from somewhere, and it has to do with the fact is like my parents aren't rich, and the fact that they're not getting like such like breaks that were promised is a result of the categorization of low income, middle income, upper income, whatever it is, right?
Mhm.
So I voted Conservative because I want to ensure my financial safety for the future, right?
Mhm.
And I'd like for my parents to do well as well in the current, right? So
Right. Now, I have like one thing that kind of relates back to education, and it's that like okay, so like one of the differences between liberalism and conservatism is that liberalism calls for more government intervention in the way of like taxes and whatnot, right?
Let me just ask you this: Are you saying liberalism as like an ideology, or are you saying like the Liberal Party?
Like the
in
left?
Canada?
No, just like the left.
Okay, sure. So just it's it's not exactly liberalism. Like liberalism is like
Yeah,
you know,
that's
like
like
postmodernism and
classical
stuff. It's
liberalism, like with that word, or like
right. It's like an
yeah.
ideology, you know,
yeah,
or like
yeah,
a strain of thought. I
know,
guess.
I know that, but I'm just saying like the liberals
Right.
call for like more government intervention, more taxes,
Mhm.
whereas the conservatives are less government intervention, leave it up to the market.
Mhm. Yep.
Now,
Typically, yeah.
yeah, and specifically in this case with education, like it seems like they're really intervening. Like this is a hard intervention with them not leaving it up to the market. They're trying to skew the market in one direction, specifically in the way of the STEM.
Well,
What do you think?
that's not exactly a market. That's like a public service, right? Schooling is a
That's
is
true.
a public service that's regulated by the government no matter what, right? So like private schools, they'll still keep whatever it is
Well,
that
the
they
fuck
want
they
because they're
want.
private schools as long
What
as
goes on
obviously
in
they're
there?
approved. Well, they won't be touched by this because it's up to them for who as many people as they want to hire, however big they want their classes to be. But that's because they're a private market, right?
Yeah.
If conservatives were to step into that realm and start saying, okay, now private schools must have XXX, X, Y, or Z, whatever, right? Then it's different because then they genuinely are shaping the market, right? Public schools, it is the responsibility of the government either way.
okay.
So that's the way
Makes
I
sense.
see it, at least.
Makes
So I
sense.
wouldn't say that they're like dipping their hands in and pushing it either way because it's their responsibility.
Okay. I get that. But yeah, what the fuck goes on in private schools, man?
Whatever
Like
they want.
Montessori schools, like what's that all about?
I couldn't
There's
really
some
tell
cult
you.
Yeah.
shit going on there.
Montessori schools, I think that they just have a different way of teaching.
Yeah, I
in
mean, it's
the-
like more practical, right?
It's that's basically the bottom line. I think is that it's a lot more practical.
It's more
Yeah.
one-on-one too, right? Not
Well, their
really
classes
one-on-one.
are smaller.
They're definitely
yeah,
smaller.
but that's because it's a private school. Any
Yeah.
private school has smaller
Yeah.
classes, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, we should get Dan on here one day and he can tell us all about it.
Yeah,
Then
I forgot
he
he
was,
went to a private
yeah.
He was telling me one day that hell, maybe I read this online one time, but like he went to Villanova High School, private school, and their goal was you know what? I saw this on a bus ad one day. And basically the way
Oh,
this
yeah.
one private
on the
school
Viva?
described themselves. No, it was on the Viva,
Yeah, I know the one.
they were basically saying that like their goal was to less of teaching and like basically building or shaping people to be leaders, as we mentioned earlier, actually shaping people to be leaders in the future. So like I think the idea is that they teach in a different way in the sense that they obviously have more funding, most likely, right, in most cases.
Mm-hmm.
So they can take a different approach to teaching, right? I think that's a lot of what has to do with it, you know, and of course smaller classes.
Yeah.
They likely have access to, or like I just said, they have access to a hell of a lot more most of the time, right?
Yeah,
So-
I've been through it.
Yeah.
I went
there you go.
to my most recent school I went to was a private school.
Yeah. Tell us about it.
So the classroom's definitely smaller and there's more room for one-on-one,
Mm-hmm.
which I found a lot better. It's an easier way to learn. And with a lot less people in the classroom, you're not really fighting over one another to give an answer. You're not fighting over one another to read something or anything like that, right? And like you said, because I guess they were well funded, we had the materials we needed at all times. For my case, in a physiotherapy course, we had everything available to us at all times, whether it was all the machinery so that we can learn the machinery before going into the workforce. And they taught us not to be what someone else wants to be, but to do it in your own way.
Mm-hmm.
Make people comfortable, but more importantly, you be comfortable. Don't strive to be somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be yourself at all times. So if you were to go to a school where it wasn't funded like it was over there, I can't see them having experience with, for my case, the machinery like we did. It's tens of thousands of dollars worth of machinery for healing the body or whatever, whether it's laser therapy, anything like that, an ultrasound machine. Those are not things that are just going to be lying around. We didn't have many, but they were there. So
Right.
when I went into my placement, I knew exactly what I was doing when I picked up the machine. So, yeah, obviously there's big advantages to going to private schools, whether it's post-secondary or not. There's big advantages, but Yeah, that was my experience with it. I enjoyed it a lot more because I had experience with both.
Mm-hmm.
I went to a college that wasn't a private school,
Yep.
and then I also went to a private school afterwards, after
Mhm.
2 years of there. And I can 150% say I enjoyed the private school a lot more.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely noticed that, Joe.
Yeah.
Like when you'd speak of your experiences with school, you're definitely more enthusiastic.
Yeah.
About the private school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you guys had the resources and the means, would you send your kids to a private school if you could?
No.
Post-secondary, definitely.
Okay.
But
Why no, Peter?
Just because I think when it comes to private schools, I mean, yeah, they're good and all, but I want my kid to. It's not everybody goes like Joe went to a private school, but it's like I want my kid to really see how colleges work, how the elementary schools work, or
Mhm.
the secondary stuff like that. I just want to see. I want them to experience it, not the way I did, but in their own way, if that makes any sense.
Right.
Yeah, but wouldn't that be through a private school in their own way? Because they're more shaping individuals in private schools. Whereas if you were to send them to a normal, for
Well-
lack of better term, a normal college, it would be them being shaped into the career path that they chose. And that's it, not to be an individual. And
Well-
it's to be, if you're going to take, for, I don't know, a math course, and you're going to a college,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to teach you exactly like they teach you the year before.
Yeah.
They're going to teach you just like the people that graduated the year before you. And you're going to be molded into that same person
Cookie
that
cutter.
graduated. Exactly. Whereas if you were to go to a private school, you're more unique. You're your own person. They don't really push you into this corner and say, hey, you have to stay here. They give you the whole room and they say, you have anything. You can do whatever you want within this field that you've chose.
Mhm.
So do as you will.
Well,
But that's why for me it would be after post secondary. I would say yes for a private school. For high school, I feel that experience it needs to be there for, again, for lack of a better term, a normal high school.
Mm-hmm.
it definitely like socializes
It does.
kids in a certain way. But like the thing about like certain private schools, especially like the elite private schools, is that there is no individualism molded there whatsoever.
There isn't.
There is one cookie cutter, and that is the Ivy League preppy fucking Argyle wearing piece of shit
Mm-hmm.
that they're trying to pump out of that school.
Mhm.
And post secondary, I'm sure that they value individualism a lot more. But
Yeah, because again, post secondary,
yeah.
you're there because you want to be there.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only reason. For high school, if you're in a private high school, you're learning exactly what everybody else is learning, and they're creating the exact same individual.
I definitely wouldn't send my kid to a Catholic school. I think I've
Mm-hmm.
thought about that quite a bit
Mm-hmm.
lately.
Why?
Just because, like, okay, we are all raised here with the Christian values. You know, we've all been baptized and christened and communionized or whatever, fucking confirmed
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's it.
to the
Confirmed.
word of God.
Yeah.
And I think me as a person, yeah, like it gave me like some sort of moral compass, I guess you could say, like religion. And I think that's what it's valuable for. But like when Joe and I went to our elementary school, I don't know about you guys, but we were forced to wear uniforms.
Mhm.
No.
No.
Yeah, we were forced to wear uniforms, and like that doesn't vibe with me, man. Like even in high school, you know?
Yeah.
Like uniforms, like that's so fucking 18th century,
Yeah.
you know.
Well-
And like public schools are more diverse, and yeah, that's like what I value. So I don't know, maybe in my mind will change.
Mm-hmm.
I Sorry, did you have something more?
No.
I just wanted to touch on the Christian value thing. I remember, like, I myself, as you guys all know, I'm not sure how religious I am, or if I mean, on one day, like most days, I'd say that I'm likely an atheist. I mean, maybe there's something out there, but it's not something like I don't like necessarily fall in line with the typical, you know, like what we've been taught all our lives in Catholic school, right?
Yeah.
And I went on a rant one day with you guys, a drunken rant most likely, where I was pissed off about how you know, kids are born into a religion,
Mm-hmm.
and they're basically told right away, and taught it right away, but they don't really have that. They don't have a choice. They're just born into it, right? And I expressed how angry I was with that and said a whole list of things, I'm sure. But then after that, I was like, you know what? Like maybe 5 minutes later, I was like, but you know what? Fuck this, because I think that every kid should just be born Catholic, And I said, right. And the only reason I said that is because of the values that were taught. Has nothing to do with necessarily believing in God or believing in Jesus or believing in whatever God is. That should be up to the individual to make that choice. However, I do strongly agree with the values that are taught by religion. Thing is that they're taught by most any religion.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. It's not specifically limited to Catholicism or Judaism or whatever. Like every religion has some sort of moral value system that they instill in their worshippers or whatever, and that's the value of it. But like I think that I can sort of transmit those values to my progeny.
Right, definitely.
But like the thing is that would my progeny then be able to do the same thing without that religious foundation? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think that if you're not approaching it, if you're basically teaching the same things, basically just eliminating the word of God out of those teachings, then they'll be able to do the same thing because they'll be basically explaining it to their kids how you explained it to them.
Yeah, I was just about to say that,
Yeah, they would be following the same moral compass. I'd hope
so.
Thing.
See,
the word of Julian.
The thing is that they should be
being a false idol.
These values should just be regulated and or like by society, right? And just adhered to by society. Obviously not like the extreme truly religious ones like abstinence or whatever. I mean, that should just be up to the individual, right? Whether or not they want to participate in that. But I think what was the reason that I even said that, everyone should just be born Catholic, again, not something I truly mean, just more for the moral compass. I think that the reason I said that is because Catholicism is or Christianity, I guess. Catholicism is more specific, but Christianity, in most branches of it, is a pretty attractive religion because it's relatively liberal, especially as time continues to move forward, right? Christianity is becoming more and more liberal, I think. And the idea behind that is, I think that, there aren't really many restrictions on what we can't do. I mean, again, aside from the true religious basis, like can't have sex until you're married and homosexuality is a sin. I mean, the Pope recently denounced that, but that's again specifically for Roman Catholicism. But I think that a lot of other religions have, I guess, more restrictions in that sense. Like Judaism definitely does.
Yeah, like especially on like the like dress code. Like,
right, exactly.
Men have to wear the what's the name of it? Is it kippas?
Yeah. The yarmulke.
Yarmulke.
Islam has certain restrictions. Hindu
and whatnot.
And I'm not talking down these religions in any way, shape, or form. However, I just think that they should focus more on the values that are being taught and less about the like the historical implications and the, what's the word for it? Like the, I guess, I don't want to use culture because I'm not saying that anybody should denounce their culture, but the historical implications and I guess rules that they have to follow, right? You should just be raised with the moral compass and take it from there. I mean, just to mention Jordan Peterson again, but I think that he actually says that religion is crucial to develop that moral compass.
Yeah.
But I think that maybe it can be done without. I'm not sure though.
Yeah.
I haven't raised a kid yet.
Like
so.
the reason that I'm bringing this up, like right now, is just because I was listening to the Joe Rogan podcast with Ben Shapiro, and he is he's Jewish, a strict Jew. Is it derogatory to use an Orthodox Jew? Right.
Except he doesn't. I'm not sure if an Orthodox Jew is different from like the ones that genuinely wear like the long.
Yeah, no,
like,
that's he wears the yarmulke and, whatnot.
He doesn't like grow his hair and unless that's
oh
just
right, yeah,
so there might be a difference.
See that like with the side locks.
Right.
Those I'm pretty sure they're Amish.
No.
It's definitely a type of.
There's like
Jewish,
3 tiers of Judaism.
Sorry,
or
I'm
something.
just misinformed. But
the ones
But anyway.
Oh, Reform, Conservative, and Orthodox. I think he's a conservative Jew.
He calls himself Orthodox though.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So
Huh.
is he lying?
No. So then he
No.
is, but
then maybe like the reform is Hasidic Jews are the ones with the
The hats.
intense garb.
I don't know. I see Orthodox Judaism. The first image I see is
Oh.
But again, this is just stupid research that I'm
Yeah.
conducting
It's-
right now. Anyway, he strictly follows the
he
rules
strictly
of
follows
Judaism.
the rules of Judaism, and one of the things that he stresses that the Judeo-Christian values that have been embedded in Western civilization were crucial for our progress.
They're a landmark, a staple.
And he too agrees that religion is basically essential for a person to like take up into their life. And I really agreed with him there. And man, he sounded like, you see these videos on YouTube, Ben Shapiro destroys SJW or some shit, and he goes,
Yeah.
he speaks really fast, he talks like this, and he just completely denounces the things that she says right then and there,
Mm-hmm.
you know, or whatever he says. A man is fundamentally a man. If he dresses like a woman, he's whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Whatever he has to say, like he just speaks fast. He's a good debater and whatnot, but
One of the
man,
best.
he seemed more open-minded and like more liberal, I
Mhm.
guess you could say, than most people that call themselves liberal.
Man, the reason for that is because he's so like Joe Rogan literally said he's one of the most misrepresented people that
Yeah.
he knows.
Yeah.
Man, he you see like in mainstream media, I guess, if Ben Shapiro's ever brought up, usually denouncing him or saying that he said this or he said that.
Yeah, it's his radical side is
It's-
what you really see. That's really all it is.
Exactly. And it's not even like he has a radical side unless you call Orthodox Judaism radical, but that's a completely different topic. It's just that they take little clips, right?
Yeah, that's
And-
what the media's doing with this education thing right now.
Mhm, absolutely.
You know, they're picking that one bit that incites the most rage. But yeah, he basically said, you know, people are homosexuals. They're homosexuals. There's nothing he can do about it. He doesn't personally have a problem with it.
Mm-hmm.
But as a from a moral perspective, because he's a strict Orthodox Jew, that's wrong for him. But he's not going to go and push that narrative on people.
Right. And
You know, and
Yeah.
that's that's what's really like a crisis right now, is that people are like pushing their narratives.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
like if someone has a different opinion from you, like that's like there's nothing you can do about it. Why go to such lengths to be so persuasive to get them to accept your opinion? I really see no reason for that. I really don't. And I think it's really dangerous to be like staunchly on one side of the spectrum,
Mhm.
the ideological or political spectrum, whatever you want to call it. It's really dangerous to be on one side strictly and or on the other. You know, there should be a balance between both sides, and like you should be able to have a calm conversation with anyone.
Mhm.
You know, if you disagree
Yeah.
on something, you
Shouldn't
should
always
be
turn.
calm.
It shouldn't
Yeah.
always turn into an argument.
No.
I mean, it's debating, but it shouldn't turn into people yelling in each other's
getting in
faces
their
and pointing
fucking
fingers.
face and defaming them
Yeah.
by like
Yeah.
going and digging up things from their past that they
Mhm.
said when they were a dumbass fucking teenager.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, are you joking?
Talking reasonably is just the most important thing with anybody you
Mhm.
encounter. And just like to touch on that, like how you said you don't think you should be like staunch left, right, whatever, if we're just dividing it like that
Yeah.
on the political spectrum. I mean, I myself, I mean, I'd say that I'm pretty central on that imaginary spectrum. Right leaning on some things, like, you know, slightly right leaning on some things, and slightly left leaning on a hell of a lot more things, I'd say.
Yeah.
But
Me
that
too.
centralism, I guess, is, I mean, me saying that it's the best thing would be going against exactly what you just said, which, like, why push that on other people? I guess I'm not pushing on anybody, but
No, but
it's that
that's like
central-
that's I think objectivity is when you're in the middle. That's where you can gain objectivity, because
Mhm.
you lean one direction, but you're still able to lean one direction on certain things, but you're still able to recognize the other side of the spectrum.
Definitely.
And recognize or empathize or whatever with the other arguments that are being put in place.
Mhm.
And yes, central, man, that's where I throw myself to.
Mhm.
I would never, like, in the States, like, people are like registered Republicans and
Yeah.
like registered Democrats, and like they fucking full on have, like, they full on like just reject people and the things that they have to say completely just because of who they voted for. Like, that's fucking absurd.
Well, oftentimes, the reason that someone registers is because then they can vote in the, I think they call it the combine, where basically
Is that
you
like
can-
the DMC? The Democratic
No, oh,
Convention? Or
right.
whatever?
Okay. Yeah. I see. No, I think that what it is like I could be using the wrong word, but I am pretty sure it's combine. It's like, you know how when Trump was elected, before there was basically a race between who would be the leader of the Democrat Party, Hillary,
Yeah, yeah.
Bernie.
I think that's the DMC.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what basically the reason you would register
So that you
in
can
most
participate in
cases
that?
you can participate in that. If
Mhm.
you're not a registered Democrat, then you can't vote for who the leader of the Democratic Party will be, of the Democrat Party will be.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
That's a
Democrats and
little odd.
Republicans. That's
Yeah.
it, right? Yeah, yeah. So that's the reason I think that a lot of people register. But I think that there's also a chance that if you like, you could be a registered Republican and then vote Democrat.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, hell, Trump was a registered Democrat. And
Oh, yeah, I remember
Yeah.
hearing that.
And then he switched, right?
Yeah, then he ran for the
Yeah.
Republican leadership. Yeah. So that goes both ways. That goes either way. I think that's more of just a just so you can exercise that right. But again, I could be very wrong. Yeah, we're at 2 hours right now, 2 hours and 5 minutes. So
Should we
I think,
wrap her up?
yeah, I
Yeah.
think we're pretty good for the night.
Mhm.
Good. Perfect.
All right.
Right. This has been episode 11 of the Unfinished Basement podcast. Thank you all for listening. And as usual, we request your feedback. Leave us anything you have to say. I'm going to say if it's 2 stars and under, just send us a DM. But,
yeah.
you know, 3 stars, that's acceptable.
Mm.
But yeah, leave us anything you'd
Mhm.
like us to talk about or anything you have to say. And yeah, we appreciate all the support that we've been getting
Yeah.
lately. And stay tuned for the next episode, the next Dookie Shop. You know,
Mhm.
follow us on Instagram. Follow us on the fucking YouTube, Spotify. You can listen to us at
Mhm.
all the platforms.
Yeah.
Stitcher, our
Stitcher.
website.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Which actually we're going to be doing some updates to the website, make
Mhm.
it a little more not interactive, but you know,
Search engine friendly.
Yes.
You can.
Yes.
We're gonna be posting show notes, so you could see at what, like, with the timestamps to see
Mhm.
what topics we're talking about, and at what point in the episodes you can go and click accordingly. So yeah, this has been episode 11.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Jules,
I'm Joe.
I'm Pete.
I'm Lou.
and have yourselves wonderful evenings or days or whatever.
Good night, all.
Later.
Later.